Hello and welcome everybody. Today is the 5th chapter in the first book of Daughter of Alba, and today's title is Léirsinn, Insights. So you are in Crossing. It's the next morning. Crossing is a really big city by your standards. You've never seen as many people. Lots of people. Late spring, early summer warmth, no indoor plumbing, go figure. You have spent the previous day working in a tannery to make some money, and you have made money. You still have, was it 18 silver and 8 copper? Because you paid 12 copper for your room, for board, and for the 2 horses.
Yeah, so, but I only got 2 silver.
Yeah. Sorry,
so
that's
one
so
silver.
You have 1 silver,
copper.
8 copper, 8 copper. No. Okay, no, there's 100 coppers to 1 silver.
So 1 silver and
is 100 copper. 88.
88.
Yeah, 88. You still have a good ways to go, about 8 days south to reach the forest through which you have to travel to make it to the mountain range that is actually called Nyktoros. You have found that out because the sister has done some research as well. She has looked at a map and it's called Nyktoros, and that is the mountain range that divides Alba from Chrysaea. The Albi name is a lot less interesting because it simply says high mountain. So that's the Himorvenia. So it's not really a lovely, a great name, but they have Nyktoros and you don't know what it means.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to, well, Siobhan has kind of sheepishly asked if you could spend some of your hard-earned money for her to get some paper.
Yeah, and I agreed without questioning. So some paper is the goal, and some food maybe for the trip.
Yeah, she showed you this bread.
Yeah.
You also know that south of Crossing, for the first couple of days, 2 days, maybe there will still be agricultural land, but it's going to be quite, it's going to get lonelier and lonelier. There are no more settlements per se. There are just those homesteads. Where maybe 1 family, 2 families live and they farm the land around it. You do know that there is not a war zone because there hasn't been a war for a long time, but you've been warned against ruffians. And you also know from looking at the map that after about 2 days ride, the landscape will change one more time and you will be entering something that is probably a lot like a lake district. There will be a lot of lakes, big ones, small ones. And due to the fact that it's going to be quite wet, there's not going to be a lot of agriculture. There will be a lot of midges at this stage. So whatever you want to do to keep your skin fine and unblemished, you might want to think about it now, because you will be eaten alive.
We will see what we can find, maybe on a market or so.
So it's the morning.
We will grab some breakfast, just and then start to leave as quickly as we can. At least Aisling wants to get out of here.
So does Siobhan. You go to the market, which opens really, really early. She showed you some bread that she had been gifted the previous evening. It's kind of like, I don't even know what the English word for knäckebrot is. They've got a Dry Vita is a brand name, so it's like Rye Vita. The good thing about it is it'll keep even in kind of like humid weather.
Yep.
It won't go moldy unless you really do something terrible to it. And you also thought that it might be maybe good to get some dried meat, but considering that it's going to get hotter and more humid, probably the order of the day will be to either go fishing or to go hunting, or both.
Fishing would probably, if we're getting towards lakes, fishing should be easier. Or if we find some like ducks or birds or anything like that, that would also be enough.
So you have leather armor and you have chainmail with you.
Yes.
Okay, so Siobhan is only has leather armor, and she also has her shield. You have your weapons. I assume, so this is just my assumption, you brought at least lines, hooks, and sinkers.
Yes.
You may not have brought a rod, because you can always just cut off some branch or something. We will also assume, seeing that she's a healer, she has her basic healer's kit. So first aid, we can take it as read. She has some bandages, she has some salves that can stench some bleeding, that kind of thing. What she will not have is stuff that she would need to cure illnesses, because it kind of depends on the illness. So she maybe has something that will work on a fever, but that's pretty much it. She has quills, she has ink, you've got the maps.
Yep.
And she has 1 page of parchment that she has been using for the travel log, so she can. One. Sheet, exactly, because pages. It's got 2 pages to 1 sheet. Yeah, so she can, and she's filled half a page. So you're gonna go shopping, and it turns out that parchment itself, as you had expected, is quite expensive. 1 sheet of parchment 30 by 30 centimeters costs 1 silver, so it's 100 coppers. It's really expensive.
Still, we will get 1.
However, they also have something that they call that is made from parchment is made from skin, from animal skin, that they've got something that is made from plant matter. So it's it's almost like papyrus, although it's called something else. And they are much less expensive. They are 20 coppers per 1 sheet. So instead of 100 coppers, you pay 20 coppers. The only thing is they're less durable, obviously, but they are an alternative. What do you choose?
Shiva, what do you think? Going with a quality one, or we could get a bit more if we go with the other stuff?
I would say go with the other stuff. Once I've written it down, we can always copy it again.
Yeah. So she would buy then 3 sheets of paper. So
That's 60 coppers.
Yeah.
Do you want to haggle? Or do you... Oh, well, because you don't really know that much about money. Do you want to... No, you don't. Okay, so you pay 60 copper. The... Let's see.
And we will definitely look for some of this crispy, nice, crunchy bread.
You get crispy, nice, crunchy bread. They sell it by the kilogram. So 1 kilogram costs 30 coppers.
Okay.
Siobhan casts a wistful eye at the butter maker, but in this heat, it's just not gonna make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. So we will get a kilo of crunchy bread. Feels like a lot. But we have to travel with it. It has to stay for a while.
But I mean...
Yeah, we will take a kilo. So 30 copper. And...
You can also, I mean, this is a city. You could also, if you want something with regard to weapons, if you want something with regard to leather work, anything like that, you can, if you want it, you can name it, and it's probably likely going to be there.
Aisling would see if she can find anything that would help against mosquitoes or whatever wants to eat you alive when you're getting into the more lakey parts.
You go to the herbalist's shop?
Yes.
Okay, you go to the herbalist's shop. I was so looking forward to this. The good thing about the herbalist's shop is it smells really nice. The change is palpable. You smell lavender, you smell peppermint. The herbalist is a man in his 30s, and he greets you. He takes a look at you, and let's see. Yes, he decides to talk to Siobhan more. He looks at your face, he sees the scar, and yeah. Unfortunately, because of your eye, you don't notice that there was something hanging from the ceiling, so you just walked right into a lavender thing that was hanging from the ceiling. He's like, mind your head, madam, milady.
Madam, thank you. So sorry, I did not see it.
It's all right. Yeah, I should definitely put it up higher. He's a lot less tall than you. Unless he gets a ladder, it will be difficult for him to hang it up higher.
Should I hang it up a bit?
If you want to, be my guest.
Aisling will see that she can maybe tie it up a bit higher than it
Not
is
a problem.
now.
You'll probably never be able to get it down, but then again. Siobhan smiles at him. She gives her brightest smile. And she talks about something that they can take, that you can take against midgets. And he says, yes, I do have something against midgets. And it's an ointment which costs 20 coppers as well. I don't know how much money you've got left.
Enough.
And it's just a small jar as well. She opens it. Yeah.
It doesn't smell too nice, probably.
Yeah, it rivals the stench of the city. And he says, but I know what it smells like, sister. And I know that it's maybe unbecoming for young ladies like yourselves, but I can tell you, it's going to keep those little pesky midges away from you. You will be fine. Not a single bite. Not a single mosquito bite. I swear to it. I made it myself. I use it when I go out.
Let's give it a go. If not, we will come back on our way when we return.
Can you please roll on persönliche Ausstrahlung for me?
Persönliche Ausstrahlung, das ist da oben.
You get a plus 20 to your stat because you're intimidating him, even if you're not trying to do it.
I'm still failing by 2 points.
Oh, that's good, because he's he's probably completely concentrating on Siobhan. He's kind of blocking you out. And he gives her the jar, and you hand over the money. She smiles at him again. She basically takes you by the arm and says, you've got a really nice shop here. And she drags you up. She says, why do you say that?
What?
You threatened him.
I just said that we will come back.
If it's not working.
I helped to hang the stuff high.
Yes, I know. You shocked him. He may never ever let us in again.
Well, you, yes. Me, not.
Yeah, okay. So the next time we're here, I will just park you outside and go in myself. Is that what you want?
Well, I can go inside. We will see what happens. Maybe you forgot us by then. It's not that we return tomorrow.
She takes a step back, as if she's looking at a painting or something, holds you at arm's length, and she's like looking up and down. Yeah, he's likely going to forget you. Yeah. Nice try. You look like no one else.
But I'm a weird one. People tend to forget weird ones because they don't want to remember. He will forget. Don't worry.
Oh my god. You have no notion. Okay, so let's get on our horses and let's get out of here. I think we've got everything we want. Or is there anything else?
Do we need some herbs for cooking? Or some salt or anything?
I will go in myself. And she stretches out her hand. I will need some money.
Aisling will give her, let me just, 50 silver.
Okay, 50 copper.
50 copper, sorry.
She takes 50 coppers, she goes back in. Let's see. Okay. She comes out again. And she gives you a very smug smile.
See, he likes you.
Maybe.
Who wouldn't?
So she hands you back 25 coppers.
Okay.
Yes. He commented that I had such lovely blue eyes.
Well, you do. I know, not helpful.
Well, anyway, we've got salt and I've got some cooking herbs as well.
Just let me quickly calculate. Quickly is not the point. This evening, let me get some technological help. Okay, we have 53 copper left.
It's not too bad. Maybe we should keep it because down south here they may want money when we do something else. I mean, we may need something on the road, and if we have some money at least, then that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, and we have all we need, right? So
we do.
Let's get out of the smell, out in nature again.
Yeah. And you get on your horses, you leave the city, so by the south gate, and yeah, there's still a lot of traffic, but only maybe for the first couple of hours, and it's kind of, there are other small roads going west and east. There are some hamlets here and there, and after, I would say, 5-6 hours, so you left pretty early, so I would say it's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon now. You do notice that there are now still a lot of fields to the left and right of you, wheat fields. You also come across an orchard, so somebody has apple trees. There's nothing on them yet, but and you still see farms. What do you basically, do you want to try and stay at a farm, or do you want to stay outside?
I think Aisling would like to stay at a farm, like in a barn, just in the corner, maybe helping with chopping some wood or so on as payment, or giving money in case they want money, because it would be safer in a barn, because then we both could sleep.
Okay, so you go to one of the houses, and can you check your microphone, because you're coming in and out really loudly and then it's dying off again?
Why?
I have no idea.
Come on, technology.
Now it's really loud.
Let's see how it is now. Better? Not better?
It's different. It's better, yeah.
Okay, then we will not touch it.
Okay, yeah, maybe not. And never touch a running system.
Exactly.
And basically, it's really loud now.
Why?
I have no idea. I can also kind of like hear static in it. Are you...
Wait. Static off? Or is it still there?
Nope. And it's also a lot more quiet.
I just moved it like this far back.
It's really completely... I mean, I wouldn't say it was static. It could also have been maybe something like a, I don't know...
I have no idea.
A fan?
Well, my laptop is there. I can't change that.
No.
It didn't switch on. So let's see how technology keeps up. And let's see how it works.
Can you say something?
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, now it's really good.
Good.
Okay,
then we will not move.
Okay, and I shouldn't move because then I go out of focus.
Technology is fun, guys.
And we, and we wouldn't know the first thing about it in our line of work because we're teachers.
Yeah, no, that's also an evil job, but
so you knock on the door.
I'm trying to make myself a bit small.
A man opens.
Good day.
He's wearing the tartan of MacDonald.
That's not good.
What do you do?
I'm standing in front of him. I can't turn around and just leave.
He looks at you and he says, yes. He's not friendly. But you've noticed that people are not really... the people here in the south seem to be a lot less friendly than in the north.
We are travelers. We were just curious if for some work on the farm or some money we could stay overnight in your barn.
Travelers. Where is the other one? Because... or is she standing next to you?
I guess she would at least be visible behind me because she would hold a horse. With my friend
two of you?
Siobhan.
Where is the rest?
It's just us two.
The two of you are traveling on your own?
Yes, southwards.
You do know that this is quite dangerous. Women folk should not be traveling on their own.
We heard so. But we will be okay. But it would be nice if we could have a roof over our head for a night.
Well, you can stay in the barn.
Thank you. Any work you need to be done? Chopping, wood, carrying stuff?
No, not right now, but it's also not necessary. You can stay in the barn.
Thank you.
It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be a lot safer. I'm pretty sure that she indoors would not want me to put two women out at night.
Well, we are still strangers, so I would understand why not. You need to be careful.
He looks you up and down and he says, "You don't scare me."
That is nice to hear. Well, then, thank you, sir. If you need any help, just let us know. We would then set up
holler.
camp.
And
Thank
he
you.
points to the barn, needlessly, because the barn is pretty visible. And he says, "Make sure you lock the door."
Yes, thank you. Good rest of the day.
Yeah,
And
he
she will
closes
just turn
the door in
away.
your face. Yeah.
We'll go. We can stay in the barn.
That was something else.
I'm hesitant if he knows about us or not. It's like McDonald's.
I saw.
Well, whatever. It happened, and we have a roof over our head. So let's set up camp, and we should close the door.
Yeah, you can actually bar the door from the outside and from the inside.
Okay.
At the moment, it's barred from the outside. You can just take away the bar,
Move it
open the
inside.
door, take it inside, and then you can put it in.
Yeah, that's what we will do.
Okay. There is a well in this farmstead, and Siobhan just decides that she doesn't really care. She goes outside and takes water from the well. She draws water from the well. The barn itself is very warm because obviously, you know, and that's quite nice. Probably there is a lot of hay in there. Are you going to use the hay for the horses?
Yes, a little bit. Not much, but a bit.
Okay.
And then we use the hay to make beds out of it.
Okay. So, do you want to cook? Considering that there is no hearth or anything in here, or do you want to take it outside and build a little fire, or what do you want to do?
I think we would make a little fire outside. We don't want to cause a fire and burn anything down, but at least to warm up something, and then we will get rid of the fire before we go inside and lock the barn for sleep.
Okay, so Siobhan sits down. She does some cooking. Some of the dried meat. She also got a couple of potatoes, and then it's a stew. Evening falls now quite late. It's now light until 9 o'clock in the evening. What do you do? Do you want to do anything, or do you just want to go to sleep?
I think Aisling would just go to sleep. She would enjoy that she's outside where it's smelling nice, even if it's a barn, but still much better than the city. And if Siobhan doesn't have anything, Aisling would just literally fall backwards into the hay and just start snoring.
Okay. Siobhan does have something that she wants to do, and let's see if she manages.
I guess she will be praying as usual.
Yeah, for that she doesn't need to roll. No. Unsuccessful. She does pray. You hear her pray. I mean, considering that it's psalms, it's almost soothing because, of course, they're in rhyme form. And then, yeah, you fall asleep. Let's see if you notice anything. No. And well, the next morning, you are. Have you ever slept in hay before? Because that's quite a weird sensation because it's kind of tingly and annoying.
I'm quite sure she did, but as a child, so it has been a while.
Okay, you wake up and you are full of hay and it itches all over.
So be it. I will stand up and try to get all the hay out of my
You
clothing.
can't actually see Siobhan. It seems like she dug herself into the hay. You can see this mound.
And yeah, I will clean myself up. I will just check if the horses are okay and then unlock the door. And peek outside how the weather is.
The weather is nice, it's fair.
Good.
It seems like it's going to be a warm day. Siobhan digs herself out and she starts cursing. She hardly ever curses, but she got the hay everywhere, so now she has, it's inside her underwear. It's terrible. So she's like, well, remind me never to do this again.
But it was so comfy. Well, it's a bit itchy now, pulling out a bit of straw.
You can actually see that she's got a rash here, where she got
good.
it on the back of her neck. Yeah, she's not comfortable.
Okay, next time we will find another way. Next time we will make the straw and put.
Next time, just remind me. Just remind me.
Okay,
Ashley.
I will.
Good. So you have breakfast. Do you want to say goodbye to the host, or do you just leave?
I think we will just leave. We will keep everything neat and clean, and we'll leave.
Okay, you leave the homestead. You ride down. You ride south. You come across more of these orchards. You come across more. Here are actually a lot of orchards. You see pear trees and apple trees, and still lots of wheat fields. And
on the road, I would also keep my eyes open for any other groups of people that
make
are
a
on the
perception
road.
check. +6. By the way, are you wearing your armor?
I will be wearing my leather armor, I would guess. The other one I would have in my bag on the horse. Wait, what is the roll?
It's a W20 and you just add 6 to it.
Okay. Nope, that's not it. Go away. And add 6 to it.
No. Okay. Yeah, you do see farmers every so often. You see an ox cart here or there, but you don't really notice any other kind of like travelers. You also don't notice any of these ruffians that you had been told about, so it all seems really peaceful. So do you want, I mean, now that there is a lot of light, do you want to travel longer?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say at around 5 o'clock you can see that before you the road dips one more time and it kind of opens up into a basin. So and you can see lakes dotted here and there. You can also sense a change of smell in the air, and slowly but surely the humidity is increasing. And Siobhan looks at you and says, that must be the Lake District that they were talking about.
It looks like it. It's also getting warmer, more murky a bit.
Yes, indeed. Shall we try and find a place for the night?
Let's see if we find something.
So you keep traveling?
Yeah, we keep going a bit and see either if we find a farmstead or anything, or if we find a place where we can set up camp.
You
Because around
notice
the lake, I guess there will not be as much houses and so on.
Okay. You are lucky.
Okay.
You don't find a farmstead, but you find actually on one of the lakes something that looks like an empty hut, like a fisher's hut maybe.
Mm.
And it's sturdy enough, made of wood, roof, but it's completely empty. So there is no bedding in there. There is nothing in there.
It has a roof.
Mm-hmm.
Does it even have a door that you could barricade
It does
from
have a door.
inside?
Yeah. I mean, the door isn't the sturdiest one, but you can close it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then let's set up camp there if we don't see anyone close by, but it looks really empty.
The both of you look around. You don't see anything. You haven't seen a soul in a couple of hours now. You have noticed that there are very many crows,
Mm-hmm.
but also, of course, herons and those kind of whatever they're called, the fishing birds.
Yeah.
Basically, they stand there, stork-like creatures as well. And Siobhan
Do I
says,
see any ducks?
ducks, waterfowl. Let's see. Oh yes, absolutely.
I will try to hunt us some fresh meat. Let's see if it works.
So you're going to take bow and arrow.
Yes.
You have not been practicing since.
Not really, but
So
she will
that's going
give it
to
a
be
go
interesting.
anyhow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So first of all, you're going to set up camp.
Yeah.
Roll on knowledge animal for me, what you know about duck hunting. So that's more the theory, which is why I don't think it would be survival. I think it's more like now. Yeah.
I rolled an 18, so it's a success.
Brilliant, and you get a practice point too.
Yes.
You know that it's easiest to hunt waterfowl at dusk and at dawn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just making this up, by the way. It could be totally wrong, but you know this.
I will just go with it. I have no idea when it's a good time. I know fishing in the morning is usually better, but that's the only
that's
thing.
what I've heard too. And I'm just going by, it's easier to hunt deer in the morning and at dawn and at dusk rather than during the day.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when they basically gather. And you also know that it's easiest if you are sitting in the reed and basically are looking out.
Just sit and wait, because if I move, they will be flying away.
So you go outside and sit in the reed.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see what Siobhan does, because Siobhan is going to sit in front of the hut. Okay. Good. So now roll on your constitution for me.
On constitution. That is a success.
Okay, so you keep still.
Mm-hmm.
You have your bow ready, you have your arrow nocked, and you see the ducks descend on the lake. Now, this time we're not going to roll on survival, we're going to roll on your ability to shoot without the sharpshooter because of your eye.
Mm-hmm.
But you're getting -4 to this because this is the first time
Okay.
you've tried to shoot an arrow since you lost your eye.
So let's see. So it's just a bow.
Mm-hmm.
No, that was a 4. That is a big no.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the shot goes wide.
Mm-hmm.
However, let's see if it goes wide enough for the ducks to not notice, because that could very well happen.
It was a very bad shot.
Yeah, no, on a 69, you're unlucky. You actually hit the area close to the ducks, so they fly out. They take off, they fly off. Do you wait more?
Yeah, it would depends. If it's still daylight there, yes, I would wait and give it a second go.
Yeah. Okay. So you wait. You give it a second go.
Mm-hmm.
On a 21, they descend. You don't have to wait long. After about I would say 20 minutes, half an hour, they return.
Okay.
Try again.
That was a 19. That is a success. Even
Whoa.
with the minus, it's a success.
And you get a practice point. Very well done. you've kind of gone in your head over why you failed, what went wrong, and you've managed to kind of think about it some, and it's worked. You have all the other ducks fly up. Now, usually when you go duck hunting, you have a dog and you go retrieve, and they run into the water, they bring the duck out, and
I will have to go swimming.
You go swimming. Okay. Do you take your armor off?
For hunting, I would have taken it off anyhow.
Okay.
Because for hunting, you need to be easy and light. Because sitting there in the reef with armor and so on, it's mighty uncomfortable.
Good point.
So.
Okay, so you...
Also, I wouldn't have a sword with me. I would just have my knife and my bow.
Okay, so you go into the water, swim. Can you swim? I don't think you've got that skill though, do you?
Well, just a basic that end.
Okay, then please give me a roll. Let's see if... And then she drowned in the lake. I rolled a 1.
I did. You don't believe it. I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so
Critical
basically...
fail.
You failed critically. Okay, so basically you go under, but you don't drown. You come up again, but it takes you... You are coughing like crazy, and you are being heard. Siobhan runs towards the lake. She looks out on the lake, and she's like, "Are you crazy? What are you doing?"
I will get our food. Give me just... I can do this. And she will try to be like a splashy animal.
Paddling.
Yes, exactly. And she will try to stay at the edges where it's not as deep.
Okay. You get your duck.
She's
still impaled on your arrow.
So it means I get my arrow back as well. Nice.
Yeah. You make it back to shore. She looks at you and she says, "This is the sorriest sight I've ever seen. Just look at you."
I'm clean now.
Yeah. Except for all of the mud in your hair.
Hold the duck.
She takes the duck.
Aisling will go back to the water and she will basically take a bath. She's not swimming, but she will go where it's a bit deeper and really make sure her head is underwater, and she will try to get most of it out of her hair, and then still dripping, but hopefully cleaner, will come back.
Yeah, you are clean. She looks at you and she says, "Actually, this is really funny. You're not a sheepdog. You're a pointer."
Maybe? No. I'm rather the hunter. I got it, which is surprising, I have to say. So fresh meat.
Very nice.
Let's prep it.
She does eye you a little bit, kind of like wondering if you're okay.
Aisling will shake her head like a dog, so Siobhan will get wet as
sheepdog
well.
It is.
She will get a bit wet, and then Aisling will grab the duck and will prep it that we have the meat and everything. If there are a few nice long feathers, she will keep them as well in case we
For
need
fletching.
them
For fletching.
for the bow or for riding, either way.
Very good. She looks at you and she says, "Well, milady, how would you like your duck?"
However we could just put it on the fire, just with
roasted. I see. Why don't you take a seat? And she takes the duck from you.
We can also make a stew, but it would be better if we just cook the meat, because then we can transport it tomorrow as well.
She takes the duck from you. She puts it on a spit. She starts roasting it.
Probably Aisling will shove her by the side and will turn it around here and there and just like, "I worked for it."
"Oh, if you want to cook it, that's fine." And she sits back, crosses her arms, crosses her legs at the ankles, and sits back and just looks at you.
Well, maybe the seasoning should be something you are much better
No,
than I
you
am.
said you had done this. You said you got it. You shoved me aside. It's up to you now. I wash my hands of this, Aisling. I wash my hands of
What do we
this.
have on herbs?
She goes through her bag. She gives you a couple of sachets and she says, you go and figure it out.
Aisling will open each one of them, just like getting a little bit outside, trying to figure out if there's any kind of stuff she knows.
Let's make a roll.
What would it be? Nature?
Plants.
Plant. Yeah.
Yeah, plant knowledge. If you've got it.
I have it. And I rolled a 2, so I have no idea. This all looks the same. She will put everything back and will hand it back to Siobhan, and she will rummage around in her pack and will grab the little bit of honey she has left, and she will put a bit of honey on it.
On a 26, this time round, she passes her willpower check and she doesn't laugh. And then she says, take this, and she hands you a sachet. It's going to taste really nice with the honey.
I will add it a bit to the duck and will hand it back to her. And then I will be whistling a song and making sure the duck is nice and crisp, but not burnt. And then we can eat.
She's totally relaxed. I mean, she's basically just sitting with her back against this cabin, watching you and really content. She has picked up a little bit of not a tan. She's now she's not reached the tomato stage yet, but she's slowly getting there. And she is really enjoying herself. And she says, we should do this much more often. I said that, and you do the work.
I'm fine with that.
Good.
And Aisling will lean back when we have the food there. She would just lean back, enjoy. It's much nicer out here, isn't it? The city is lovely. Really not for me. How can people live there? It's loud. It's dirty.
They've got 4 temples.
Well, that might be a good thing for some people.
Well, I was impressed. I went to every single one of them. I mean, I just glanced in briefly. I went to one of them and I prayed and I spoke to the father. But yeah, they have 4 temples, but still it's not for me.
They have quite the variety of shops. You can get everything there, it seems, if you have the money.
If you have the money, yeah.
So this money thing is something I will have to work around the road to see if here and there I can pick up some jobs. Because I'm quite sure in the south we will need money as well.
Do you think we should maybe try and get a fish tomorrow morning?
Yeah, that was my idea. I will get up a bit before sun rises, or at least when the sun starts to rise, and I will see what I can get around here.
I will wake you. I have a couple of things. I have one thing that I want to do. So,
you want a fish? Come on.
Don't tempt me.
You can do it.
Okay, I'll go with you.
Maybe we'll get 2 fish then. That would be good.
That would be brilliant. And so she is in a very good mood, and you can tell her mood is getting better and better because she starts singing at some point. And then she does the dishes, as it were. So basically she cleans the spit and everything, and she portions she takes the rest of the duck, she cuts it up in nice little parcels and wraps them up. And then she says, well, I still have something that I want to do, but you can go and turn in if you like.
You need any help?
I think actually the only help that you can give me is to be very quiet. But you can sit with me if you like, if it's not too boring for you.
I quite enjoy this, so I would just sit here right outside the door, leaning against the wall, being quiet. And Aisling will do exactly that, just leaning back.
She gets up and she doesn't go away. She just moves right in front of the fire, sits down in front of the fire, cross-legged, and looks into the fire. She does this for about 20 minutes, and then you can hear a kind of like a sigh of exasperation. And she just shrugs and she says, and now you can, are you listening?
Yeah.
Are you trying to, okay. You can hear that she says, I don't understand how she does it.
A little smile on Ashling's face. She will just lean back and will just stare out on the water again.
She turns around, she says, well, I'll do some praying now and then I'll go to bed because we want to get up at sunrise tomorrow to get some fish, or maybe get some fish. So she goes inside.
I will just have a quick peek. Horses are fine, and then
I
will go inside, and I would have looked around for some wood or so that we can kind of barricade the door from inside.
It's not a problem, you can find something. But what about the horses? You're leaving them outside?
Yes, but we would have them up at the hut exactly there that we can hear if something gets closer.
And on the side that is facing the road, or the one that is facing the lake?
The one that is facing the lake.
Okay, so you're kind of almost hiding them from view. Yeah. Okay, good. So, do you want to set a watch?
Yes. Aisling would do watch and would then wake up Siobhan.
Okay, roll Constitution for me, please.
That is a success.
Okay, so you wake up Siobhan. Okay. The next morning, you wake up and Siobhan is sleeping soundly.
I will just quietly get up and step outside. Check if the horses are there.
Yeah.
We'll give them a little bit of scritch. And we'll grab a fishing rod, because also that would have been something I would have prepped the evening before.
Are you gonna wake her to go fishing with you?
I would put the other one just right next to the door, and she would be... The lake is right there, so I don't have to go far away. I would just sit by the water and we'll try to fish.
Okay, let's see. Oh, on an 18. Yes, she does wake up. She hears you. She comes up behind you as you're sitting there with a fishing rod, and she sits next to you. She says, I'm sorry, I fell asleep on my watch.
Well, you're lucky no one tried to kill us or grab the horses.
She notices, of course, that you're cross with her.
It's fine. We just need to be careful. I'm quite sure Storm would have made enough noise to wake us up if there would have been danger.
So let's see, survival. Oh, she rolls an 18! Wow! She gets a practice point. She catches a fish.
I rolled a 13. I have nothing. Oh, no. Wait. That is my plan. I rolled a 7. I'm lying, but still I have enough.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so you really didn't. So she catches a fish. She's completely like, what?
See? You can do it if you want.
Yes, and she pulls it out off the water, and she kills it with a stone. And she hands it to you to prep it.
Well done. Fish for breakfast.
I'm sorry. Again.
You didn't do it on purpose. It's fine.
But how am I going to keep from falling asleep tomorrow night, and the night after, and the night after that? Why don't you fall asleep?
Training? Maybe next time we do it the other way around. You stay awake as long as you can, and when you are getting really tired and start fighting to keep eyes open, you wake me up.
Deal.
Good.
She preps the fish. She cooks the fish.
Mm-hmm.
You have a really lovely meal.
Good.
Pack up. You
Yep.
go. Okay. The day is getting hot. There is mosquitoes everywhere.
Does the paste help, or the ointment that we got? Is it helping?
Let's see. For you, yes. For her, no. Yeah, after about 2 hours, she's got stings all over, one right between her eyebrows. It makes her, I don't know, let's see.
Grumpy, at least?
She manages to pass her willpower check, so she's not grumpy. You also pass yours, you don't laugh at her.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're just grinning a little when she's not looking.
All the gods give and the gods take.
Yeah. So basically now the country is completely desolate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even beautiful. Well, it depends. It's murky, it's muggy, and the lakes, they are standing water. There is no air stirs.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of really oppressive.
Okay.
Let's make a constitution check for the two of you. Oh god, yeah. Mm-hmm. She's getting tired. Way before her time in terms of time of day.
I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. So, you keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And after a while, the sun has reached its zenith. It's burning down on you. What do? Do you try to seek shelter? Do you keep going?
No, we would try to seek shelter, especially I think also the horses can use some rest in this heat. They are also not used to it, so see if we can find a tree or anything that has a bit of overhang where we can
Roll survival.
have a stop. Let's see. That is a success.
Okay, you do find a couple of trees, like, very, very small ones, but still you can sit underneath them, tie the horses to them, and you get some rest.
Yeah. I will just rest and let's see if Siobhan is falling asleep.
Siobhan has fallen asleep.
It's fine. Aisling will just enjoy that it's a little bit cooler here. And she will, from time to time, just make sure that, the biting evilness is halfway staying away from her.
Yeah, you try your best, but you also notice she's beyond repair. She looks...
Oh dear.
She looks funny, and even in her sleep she scratches herself. At some point she actually manages to scratch her face open, so there's a little bit of blood trickling down her cheek.
That's odd. But well, I will give her the rest, and I think after an hour or so,
you notice that she starts stirring in her sleep quite a lot. Actually, she seems to be dreaming.
Or maybe I will give her half an hour longer, and then I would wake her up.
Okay, you wake her up. She wakes with a start, and she looks at you and she says,
I hope no nightmares.
I actually don't remember. Was I dreaming?
It looked like it.
No nightmares. And then she sees the blood on her hand. What happened?
You scratched yourself because you were attacked. I tried to get rid of, or try to keep them away from you, but you seem to be very tasty. I'm
Great.
sorry that it works on me and not on you.
Well, what can I say? If you're a priestess, everyone wants a piece of you.
Yeah, it seems like it. But we should slowly get moving.
Yes. Give me a perception check, and it's and you get a +4 to it, so it's 4. It's easier by 4. So you roll plus 10 anyway. So if you roll a d20 and you get a 10 or higher, it's a success.
That is a 11. So yeah.
Okay. You notice that as she's getting up, she is kind of off balance and she has to hold on to a tree to steady herself.
Are you okay, Siobhan?
I don't know, I've just got a really bad headache, I think.
Okay. Vicky has an idea. I'm not sure Aisling has an idea.
Then roll on intelligence.
Let's see. That is a success.
I assume it's what Alice Baker would also have noticed. She's got sunstroke.
Yeah. Okay. Change of plans. We will make camp here. Sit down.
But why?
You overheated, literally. I've seen that happening with people that were out in the fields all day.
And at that stage, she actually goes into phase 2. She starts vomiting.
I will try to turn her away from the camp.
Which you managed to do. And she's
I will
now really
hold her
weak.
hair that it's not getting in the way.
And she's pale now.
Okay, you carefully sit down here below the trees. She will just grab a bit of clothing that she has and walk over to, and also we have like a traveling pot where we're cooking in. She would grab that as well and would grab some water from the lake.
Okay.
And would come back and with the cloth just put it on her head and just lean back and try to relax. I know it's hard. And just drink some water. Not much, but at least see if you can keep some water inside.
She drinks. She does keep it inside. You can see that she's again almost falling asleep. Do you let her go to sleep? Or
Yeah,
do you keep
I
her
will.
awake?
I will let her go to sleep and just get some rest. I will prepare that we really set up a camp here, so get a proper cozy way for the horses to stand. Also, at least halfway under the tree, and set up a place where you can make a little fire.
Okay.
And we will not move today. And in between, while she sleeps, Aisling would exchange the cloth, would just rinse it out, get new cold water, and put it back on her head.
After about 3 hours of this, she does wake up. She wasn't unconscious. She was just sleeping. She wakes up and she looks at you, and you can see that she's kind of weak. And she says, "I should be doing this. I'm the healer."
Well, now you know how it feels. The next time you know exactly how to help someone else. Just relax. We are not moving anywhere today. Careful questions. Are you hungry?
I think I could eat some of that bread.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Hungry, but I'm not I have no appetite, but I'm hungry.
Then munch a bit on the bread and see if it stays in.
She munches on it and she actually takes her time. But she does eat a couple of slices and it does stay in.
Good. I will also set up tea, weirdly enough. And we'll make a tea and hand it over to her. I know it's warm, but tea helps always, doesn't it?
Okay. She drinks the tea and yeah, she is perking up. And then she looks at you and she says, "I don't think I can watch tonight."
You don't have to. Just sleep and rest. And
she curls up. And this is probably the first time ever that you've seen her go to sleep without praying?
Aisling would probably sit next to her and would be like, in case you're listening to me, I'm sorry, she's not feeling well. Usually she would pray to you guys, so we could still use your help. Thank you kindly.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
then I will do watch and not getting sleep.
Okay, so will you try and fish some more? Will you want to hunt some more? Or will you just stay where you are?
I will try to fish if it's not too far off.
No, there's a lake right. I mean, yes, there is a lake right by your side.
Yeah,
like,
then
I
she...
mean, maybe 20 meters.
Yeah, that's fine. That's close enough that I can run back. So yeah, I would sit there and see if I can catch a fish.
Mm-hmm. You go. Yeah. Well, then roll survival. Please.
I'm losing the fishing rod to the fish.
You rolled a 1.
Yeah.
The line breaks. You lose your hook.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. You come back. No fish.
I will just munch on some bread and a bit of... We still have some duck left, so just
You
on
do.
some of the duck.
And you notice Siobhan has started dreaming again, or whatever it is that she does. She is moving quite pronouncedly in her sleep.
I will get the cloth and get it wet and cool again, and we'll just carefully put it on her forehead and just make sure she's tucked in.
Okay. Please make a constitution check for me.
Oh god. Now that we need it. Nope, still a success.
Good. You manage to watch through the night. You also notice that she's calming down.
Good.
She wakes the next morning, and you can see that her eyes are a lot brighter. What do you do?
I will just grab the cloth. We'll go down to the lake. We'll clean it up and refreshen it and bring it back to her. Good morning. How are you feeling?
Remember that time when you fell off the tree and hit your head?
Sadly so, yes.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
My head hurts, but I feel different. Yesterday I also felt sick. I don't feel sick anymore. I just have a headache.
Then we can do maybe a bit of traveling carefully, maybe by foot if you don't feel like sitting on a horse being shaken through. And we need to find something to cover your head.
All right, whatever you say. She is almost will-less. She is really kind of like, whatever you say, she will do.
Which is not a good sign. Which is definitely not a good sign for Aisling. Just sit down. I will make some tea and maybe some more bread for you. I couldn't catch a fish, so...
She eats the bread that you give her. She drinks the tea. And then she looks at you. She looks into your eyes and she says, I'll make this up to you. I promise.
You don't have to make it up. That just happens when we travel. I'm sure I will manage to hit my head or break a leg or whatever, and you will have to work as well. It's fine to do that. It's not a problem.
Yes, whatever you say. And basically you then start traveling. She tries walking, and it is good for her to be on firm ground. You have a feeling that maybe even, if she was sitting on a horse, this idea of she might be shaken up is actually a good one. So
yeah, if you have headache, I don't think you want to climb on a horse, so we will just walk a little bit, and I will keep a close eye on her, and if she starts not like walking straight, or if she's getting slower, I will keep an eye open for any kind of place again where there are trees where we can stop in between to have a lot of breaks. And I would have probably, from some of the cloth, or if we have anything to make her like a hoodie or anything that she can have on her head.
Okay, yes, you do that. It works. And she is slow. You know that she is usually quite a fast walker. You can really see that she is slow, but she is plodding along. For how long do you want to keep this up? Or do you want to maybe rest?
I think for maybe an hour, and then we
Mhm.
would do a short rest.
Okay, you take a short rest, and
Just to see, and
Yeah.
I don't want to over stress it, and just at least to move on a little bit, also to get the system moving, which is probably
Yeah.
still a good thing.
Very good point. Very good point. And
Siobhan, did you dreamt again last night?
did I?
You don't remember?
No.
Okay.
Did I say anything?
No, you were just very active.
That's strange. I can't remember a thing.
Well, that it wasn't a nightmare. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's just because. Maybe it's the sun
Maybe it is.
stroke thing that I've got that made me dream. I don't know. But yeah.
We will just go bit by bit. And as soon as you don't feel well, we will just stop and find a place to stay.
So I would say you probably managed to get about 5 hours walk in over the course of the next 10 hours of daylight.
Perfect.
But she is holding up. She is keeping her balance. And her eyes are fresh. And then as you sit down, she's like, I'm really hungry now.
That is a good sign.
Do we have anything left? Because you didn't manage to fish. I'm sorry.
Well, it's not your fault that I lost the fishing rod and everything to the stupid fish. It must have been a giant fish. We're not talking about that. Just give me a second. We will set up and I can see what I can find. We still have a little bit of duck left, so if you feel hungry, come on, grab and eat it.
She looks at the duck and then she passes it out. She takes 1/3 for herself and she hands 2/3 to you.
50-50. Come on.
But you've done so much.
But you're sick. Come on, 50-50. I had duck for breakfast, you didn't.
Okay, normally this would end in a discussion. She just meekly takes the 50% and starts eating.
Oh god, that is really not a good sign. I will see if I can grab a fish.
Yeah, you can take my rod.
Thank
I mean,
you.
And she sits down and she just basically she doesn't collapse, so she is able to sit up.
Just take a nap if you feel like it. The horses are safe and I will be just around.
And yeah, basically as you go to the lake, make your roll. We'll see what happens. Maybe this time round.
Let's see. That is better. That is a 15, a success.
Excellent. You get your fish. It's quite a nice one too.
Good.
It's got 4 portions in it, so yeah.
So I'll go back with the fish, cleaning it out, and we'll start a little fire. Is Siobhan asleep?
No, she's awake.
Okay. How are you feeling?
Will you kill me if I tell you that I'm hungry?
No, I can totally understand that you're hungry. The question is, are you fit enough to look out for the fish over the fire? Then I can take at least a little nap.
Of course, no problem. Do go to sleep.
Good. Then Aisling will just curl up next to the fire and will just try to at least get any kind of sleep, because she's quite sure she will have to do the wake again over the next night. So catching up on whatever she can to make it maybe easier.
Roll a d20 for me.
That is a 15.
Very good. You fall asleep. You do sleep. And then you hear something. You hear Siobhan, and she seems to be talking to someone. problem is, for some reason, you don't understand what she's saying. It's her voice, yes, but you can't really make out the words. It's a weird sensation. You don't know if you're dreaming. You don't know if you're awake.
Is there a way for me to wake up? Really, like waking up and...
Make another d20 because you've got Wachgabe.
Okay.
You can force yourself to wake up. It's a +6 to your roll.
Then I have 14.
Okay. At this moment in time, you are unsure if you are what's going on. You have no idea.
Okay.
But at some point, you hear, you feel a light touch on your face, and you hear, Ashley.
Yes.
The fish is ready.
Whom did you talk to?
What?
You talked to someone.
She looks at you puzzled, and she looks around and says, there is no one here. I was extra quiet because I didn't want to wake you.
But maybe I was dreaming. But why would I
Maybe
be
you were
dreaming that
dreaming.
you were talking to someone and I couldn't understand you?
I'm not an Oneiromand. I can't tell you. There are priests that specialize in this.
Oh, maybe it's the heat and the sun. We'll just
Maybe
stick
it's
with
the
that.
heat and the sun.
It smells
So-
good.
I hope so. And she has obviously dug deep into her herb kit, and it's nice. So and you notice that she was able to do this, and she seems to kind of her cheeks are filling out again. And she says, I think at least for a couple of hours I will wake, and then I will wake you up.
Okay. But first, let's enjoy the food. And Aisling would try to fill up our kind of plates because she wants that Siobhan gets more than half because she is hungry. And Aisling
Again-
would rather just eat some of the bread.
Siobhan doesn't debate this.
Aisling will just have the plate there and we'll just look at her with just shaking the head. We'll stretch the plate out and we'll just sit down and dig in.
Do you say anything to her?
No.
Okay. The sun is setting now, so it's about 9 o'clock. And she says, I didn't pray last night. I'll have to make up for it.
I made an excuse in case they listened to me. That you were
prayed?
not... Well, I kind of tried. I wanted to tell them that it's not your fault. You were really, really sick. And that they shouldn't be mad at you. And maybe still keep an eye on us.
She touches you with her finger between your eyebrows.
It can't hurt. Maybe
No?
I only talk to the ducks and the fishes, I'm not sure, but...
Oh, on a 19, you are blessed.
Okay, then you will stay up for a little bit longer. And don't worry, as soon as you feel sleepy, just kick me and I will wake up and take over the watch.
Okay.
And Aisling will roll up again and we'll try to get a little bit more sleep.
Okay. You can hear her humming. Does that distract you? Or
That
do you
helps.
still go to sleep?
No, that helps with your sleeping. That will calm her down to just...
Okay. You feel a light touch on your shoulder.
Opening one eye. Yes.
It's past midnight. Do you
Wow.
want to take a couple of hours?
Yes, you need more rest. You stayed up a long time.
It was okay, I wasn't alone.
She's looking around.
No. I was talking to the goddess.
Okay. I hope she's not angry at you. But I think we would have felt it by now if she would be angry.
Well, she did say that you interceded on my behalf. She was very happy.
tempted to roll something like an insight check, but I'll leave it to it. Aisling will just smile and hush, then go to sleep. Sleep tight.
She curls up, and she goes to sleep.
And I will probably stand up, stretch, and walk a bit just to get awake, because if I just sit up, honestly, I will fall asleep right back. So just trying to get moving a bit, just walking a bit up and down, checking if the horses are fine, and keeping eyes and ears open if I can hear anything from the street.
Okay. You hear nothing.
Good.
Okay. You wake, you watch.
Yeah.
The sun comes up.
Good.
And she wakes up, and you can tell that she is a lot better. So the color has returned. She's now almost tomato again. And she is, and you can tell that she is not taking any arguments from you, because she is preparing breakfast, whether you like it or not.
That is something that Aisling would give her a big smile on her face. Should I try to catch another fish?
Well,
Or
if you
duck?
like, don't fall in again.
I will try, and Aisling will go again and see if she can catch another fish, just to see if it works. And that is a success with a 15 again.
Okay, you get a nice fish, big one, 4 portions again.
Yeah. So
And-
we will cook the fish and prep it, because in this heat it would go really bad quickly. So
Yeah, and you cook it. She eats it. She is well, she doesn't eat the whole fish.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. She makes sure that this time it's 50-50. If you try to do anything to the portions, she will actually divvy it up herself. At some point she does this, but of course it doesn't really help because you're so much taller.
yeah, but that's enough for Aisling to just relax and have the feeling that her friend is getting back to herself.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm rolling a lot tonight. Yes, you are lucky. Today is overcast, and it's a couple of degrees cooler. It's not raining. It doesn't even look like rain from where you stand. You're not familiar with the weather patterns, but it's more like high clouds but closed. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you travel, and she basically she says, "I'd like to get up on the horse, but do you think you could hold him for me?"
Sure, and as soon as you say it's too much, we can just walk or rest. We're not in a rush. It's not that we have to be somewhere in an hour or a day, so just
That is true.
take time.
She gets up, and you know, let's see how she does.
I would help her. I
On
would
a
hold
96, she
Percy.
actually on a 99. Oh my god, she almost falls off again. She really, you notice that she still isn't quite fit, because it takes her 2 tries to actually get on the horse, but once she's in the saddle, she is quite comfortable, and the two of you start traveling.
I will whisper in Percy's ear, "Be extra careful with her today." And we'll just... I'm sorry, I don't have apples anymore. Next time we will get some.
He nuzzles you.
And then I will just get on Storm. And we are moving, although Aisling would make sure that we are not going too quick.
Okay. You travel, but she actually holds up quite well. She does ask you about after about 3 hours for a break.
Yeah.
But it's actually just a short one. She just wants to kind of sit down a little and drink. In peace and quiet.
Yeah.
And then you get back on your horse, on your horses, and as evening falls, let's see, maybe she can help you as well. On an 18, yes, you do find a nice place to stay.
Good.
And then you can, I mean, like I said, this is the Lake District. There is a lake kind of like every 20 meters. So if you like, you can still fish, or you can try your duck thing again.
Aisling would try the duck thing again. We still have some fish left over, so that would be something for at least this evening if we want to. But she will see if she can grab another duck.
Okay, so try to grab another duck. Please roll on your, and this time it's just -2. because this would be your third arrow. So you are getting...
Ooh, that's a 19.
And another practice point, and you make it. This time round you are, let's see, on a 33 you're lucky. The duck actually doesn't go into the lake.
So I will get over there, wherever it is, and we'll
And it's
grab
still
it.
on solid ground, so you
Good.
can just basically pick it up.
Yes.
And you come back with a duck.
Return successfully.
She looks at you. Well done. Well done. Do you want to prep it, and do you want me to roast it again, or what would you like me to do with it this time?
Whatever you want. Your choice.
Okay. Let's
Whatever
make
you
a...
crave. We didn't have a stew for a long time.
I know. Let's make a stew. And you get it ready. You make the stew.
Yeah.
You basically then she does the evening. Let's see. She does that thing again where she sits down cross-legged in front of the fire. Yes,
she does. Aisling in her head is like, remember, breathe in, out,
breathe out, concentrate, find a sound to concentrate on. This is the second time she's managed it. So mechanically speaking, once she has accumulated the 5, she can take meditation as a skill the next time you level up.
Okay.
So because she does need to work on it, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. She can't just have it.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so this is the second time she's managed to do this. And you notice, because she is completely still, she doesn't fidget. She doesn't move at all. She's like this monolithic little rock, very slender little rock that sits in front of the fire, and that casts a shadow.
I will just lean back and enjoy, and will not disturb her.
And after about 40 minutes, she starts to stir, and she turns around. She says, "I did it.
Sure, why not?
I thought of nothing. This is only the second time I've managed. Do you know how often I've tried?"
Yes.
You do, huh? Was it that obvious?
Well, it's rarely the point that you sit down quietly, except you want to pray. So I had the feeling that you are trying this to just center yourself. And it's nice to see that you're slowly getting grasp of it, because it's actually not that difficult, at least not out here. I have no idea if I could do it in the city, to be honest, because everything is annoying there, but out here, just listen to the crickets, and it's zoning out.
So do you want to watch first, or shall I watch first?
I would say you watch first, again, as long as you feel, and then I will take the rest.
Oh, on a 14, she manages and passes her constitution check.
Good.
You go to sleep. And again, she hums. And again, you feel the light touch on your shoulder. And she says, "Aisling, it's past midnight."
Then your time to sleep.
She curls up.
I will stand up and get moving a bit.
Good. So, and then you get to make a constitution check once you settle down again.
That is a success.
Excellent. So you wake and watch till the morning breaks.
Yeah.
She wakes up as well. So this is now, she wakes up on her own, which is a good thing as well. And she starts preparing breakfast. And you would say she's back to her normal self.
That's good.
And then you get on your horses, you ride. And the next day passes very uneventfully. You can, if you like, either do some hunting or you can do some fishing in the evening, whatever you prefer.
I think some fishing again.
Okay. She will go with... Oh, no, you only have one hook. So
but if she wants to fish, she can do.
She looks at you and she says, "No, we don't want to starve, but I can go with you."
Well, you just fished almost as much as I did, so you didn't lose the fishing rod to a fish.
On a 15, she manages. Yes, you get a fish.
See?
And she makes the fish. You get to choose how you want it. She prepares it the way you want it. No, actually, she will smoke this because you still have stew left over. You
Yeah.
can't keep the stew going forever because it's kind of like watery and stuff.
True.
So you have the stew. And she says, okay, so shall I take first watch again?
If you're fine with it, I think it's a good way to go.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Okay. And let's see. You are woken by a hand covering your mouth. And you feel a blade on your throat.
Great.
Do you open your eyes? Or do you pretend to keep sleeping?
I'll pretend to keep sleeping. I'll try to breathe really shallow, but I will try to listen on what I can hear.
Okay, you hear voices. And they say, and it's basically one of them saying, well, the other one was easy. This one is a lot bigger, but I've got her under control. And he says, and then you hear another voice, and yeah, get the horses, get their stuff, do what you like with them, but be quick about it, and then let's get out of here.
In that moment, Aisling would yell for Storm to keep moving, and she would at least try to hit the guy who is holding her.
Okay, Storm actually rears up. You can hear this, and he neighs. Percy is kind of upset by this.
That's the goal.
Yes, so now roll a d20 and add your, you have somewhere you have Raufen somewhere.
I think that's under fighting.
Yeah.
Handgemenge. That would be it, I guess. Although I have
no, Raufen is on the left. When you look at, you have those little dials.
Yeah. That is a success with a 19.
Oh wow! Okay.
Plus the 8, so success.
Okay, so yeah, and he does kind of block it, but you still do damage, and it's a 1d3.
Do I roll?
Well, yeah.
Wait. 1d3. That is a 2.
Okay. And he basically is surprised, and he loosens his grip. And what do you do?
I'll try to roll out of the grip, really with my full weight to probably try to roll over myself backwards, just to get a motion that he's probably not thinking about, because he will think that I will try to wiggle like this and she will go that way, because it's harder to hold down.
Roll athletics, please.
Let's see. That is a success.
Okay. You manage to roll against and away from him, and so what do? You have one action. You can try and grab at least your sword. You will not be able to put on your
armor
unless you have it on already.
No, I wouldn't sleep in my armor. So maybe in the leather armor, but definitely not in the other one.
So do you have your leather armor on?
I would say yes. When we're sleeping outside, yes. When we're inside a barn or in a house, I would take it off.
So you get to grab your...
I would grab my sword and would try to get on my feet.
Okay. So you can now see the scene a lot more clearly. You see 3 men. One of them is holding down and sitting on top of Siobhan, who is clearly awake. And she's struggling. So she's trying to hit him. And wow, way to go! On a 17, she does. And on an 11, he does fight back, but she still does. Oh, she does 3 points of non-lethal damage to him.
She's hitting him right on the nose.
Yes. And he actually goes, ow. So what do you do? Oh wow, I'm completely out of focus.
That's the view Aisling has now.
Yeah, that's the view that
her.
Aisling has now.
She will just run forward, yelling, and really trying to the one who tried to. Honestly, not the one who tried to hold her down. She will run forward to the one who's on Siobhan and will try to cut his head off, because that's the easiest thing to grab at the moment.
Attack him.
I will just swing and see what happens. Where is my... It's the... No, one-handed sword. I said I kept the long sword back. I only took the one-hander. This is a miss. I'm swinging past him.
No, you get a +2 to this because he's sitting on top of Siobhan. He's got his back turned to you. No, actually, it's a +4. Still no? Okay, yeah. Okay, so the problem is that he's got 2 friends. Each one of them is now attacking you.
Yeah.
The first one on a 16 would hit.
Okay. I am not getting rid of it.
Okay. So, he only does 3 points, but it goes through its lethal damage. So you take 3 points and 3 points. So 3 out of your AEP and LEP minus your armor.
Okay, so only 1.
The second one tries to hit you, but he misses.
Okay.
Okay. Now it's Siobhan's turn. Siobhan tries to hit him again, and on a 13 she does. And she does 2 points of non-lethal damage.
Good
well,
girl.
She is. Yeah, well, let's see. He might be. Yeah, well, he's still. He managed to basically block it, but he still takes non-lethal damage. So now it's the ruffian who is sitting on top of her, and he hits her in the face. And he manages to do so. She can't really do much, and she doesn't defend. Or does she? Let me see, because she has a really weird defense. Let's see how this...
Well, if you're quite agile, I can imagine.
Yeah,
that
she
you
has
can defend.
12. Yeah, she manages to defend. And she takes 3 points of non-lethal damage. Okay. The next one attacks you. And he misses. And the next one attacks you. And he also misses.
Good.
So it's you.
I will go again for the guy that is on Siobhan. And we'll try to get him again with the sword.
Okay, please do.
And this time it's a success with an 18, which means I get a practice point.
No, because it's it's fighting. That's a natural 20, or when it's magic use as well.
Understood.
He does fight back, so you do get to do non-lethal damage with it.
Okay, so now I just need to find out how is the damage on that thing, because that is not in here.
It should be 1w6 plus 1 plus your attack bonus.
Oh wait, now I see. I have the longsword. Is that the one that I?
That is the one that you have wield with one hand. So yeah.
Okay, then I have. Okay, then it's 8 points of damage. Because it's a W, it's a D6 plus 4.
Okay, you do hurt him. You see blood spurting out from under his armor. Okay, then it's them again. The first one hits Siobhan in the face, and he misses. The next one attacks you, and he hits you.
Okay, let's see if I can swing around. Yep, I can.
And he does 7 points of non-lethal damage. And the last one hits you as well.
Can Can I do double defense?
Yes, you can.
No.
You take 8 points of damage to your AEP and 8 points minus your armor to your LEP.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
And now it's Siobhan, and she misses. It's you.
I will go again for the guy on Siobhan. And we'll try to get rid of her. Longsword. Success.
Excellent. Let's see what he does. Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
9 points of damage.
Oh wow, he collapses.
Good.
He essentially falls on top of her, but she pushes him away.
Mm-hmm.
So the next one attacks you, and he hits.
I defend.
Okay. You take 8 points of non-lethal damage.
That is not good because my AP is 0 now.
Okay, so now you have -4 to everything. The next one attacks you, and he hits with a 24.
-4 is still a success.
Okay. Now, since you don't have any AP left, non-lethal damage left, you take 5 points of lethal damage minus your armor because you don't have any Allstar anymore to absorb it.
3, okay.
Siobhan gets up
Mm-hmm.
and she reaches for her sickle.
Mm-hmm.
That's all she can do this round. The guy is now attacking you again, and on a 17 he hits.
How can he attack me twice?
No, it's the new round. Sorry, you got to go. Sorry,
because the one who attacked first is the one who is down. That was the one on Siobhan, wasn't it?
Yeah,
because it was always the one hitting her. It had started.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so it's you now.
And she would swing around and would try to get one of the guys that is closest to her, which is a success, even with
Good.
-4.
Then let's see what he does. And he doesn't defend.
5 points of damage.
Very good. So that's 5, and he takes. Okay, so okay. So now it's Siobhan. She picks up she gets up and she picks up her sickle. That's all she can do. So now it's the second guy that you just hit at a -4 at this stage, but he still hits you. Barely, but he does.
He does because I rolled a 1.
Oh dear. Okay, please roll a D100 for me.
What is happening when I click that? 100. I rolled a 2, which means nothing is happening.
Okay, good. So you take 2 points of lethal damage, but your it gets absorbed by your armor because you have armor class 2. Okay, so the next one hits you.
Wait, I need to go. I lost my character sheet. Let's see. It would be so nice. Okay. 2 points, you said, right?
Yeah, but but it doesn't go through your armor.
Yeah,
so
the armor is there. Okay.
The next one attacks you and he would hit.
I'm not defending. Not a crit, but not defending.
Oh my god, you take 8 points of lethal damage.
Minus, okay.
How much do you have left?
1, 2, 4.
Okay.
Still standing. And I'm angry.
Yes, you are. Please roll a D100.
Let's see. Wait. 100. Not that. The 94, whatever that's worth, it's not good.
Okay. You are still standing, but you are getting angry. You can feel the anger flare up in you.
Yeah.
And it washes over you like a red mist. And you can feel the sigil on the back between your shoulder blades start to burn.
That's not good.
You grab your one-handed sword with both hands.
Yeah.
You storm towards the first one, and You don't remember anything. The next thing you remember is you hear the words, Aisling, no! And you see before you Siobhan cowering, holding her hands to shield her face. You are grabbing onto her left upper arm, pulling her up, and you've got your right fist drawn back next to your ear. What do you do?
I will sink down my fist, obviously. And would let go of her, just stepping back, shaking my head.
You were trying to pull her up. She was trying to resist. She falls down onto the ground, and you can see that someone obviously hit her straight into the face. There is blood streaming from a wound up here, and her right side is completely swollen.
Well, I know the dude hit her, but it could be me as well. She will step back even 2 more steps again, and she would look around, really looking a bit lost.
You see 3 dead people. The men are dead, and in one of them you have buried your sword. You have pinned him to the ground with your sword.
She will just basically fall on her knees, just going down. It will be just, what happened?
Siobhan looks at you and do you look at her?
Yeah, wide-eyed.
Okay, then you can see that she is crying.
Aisling is just staying where she is. She would not grab anything. The sword can be porcupine there. And she would just sit there, just looking around, just trying to figure out what happened. And probably just whisper, like, we were fighting them. What happened?
Siobhan kneels, she comes towards you very, very slowly, and she kneels down in front of you, a good arm's length away.
I will snap back and just look at her. I don't remember. I only remember fighting them. And then burning. And I actually would probably stand up and would kind of stumble backwards. My neck was burning.
Siobhan gets up and she takes a step towards her. Do you walk away from her or do you stand your ground?
No, I will walk backwards. I don't want to hurt anyone.
And she stretches out her hand to you.
Whatever hit you? What is happening?
She holds out her hand to you. She doesn't say anything. Do you take the hand?
No. But she's not moving back. She's standing now. But she's really just looking around and probably will also put a hand on her neck. Although you don't feel that it's there. That's the thing.
You pull your hand back and you can see that it's full of blood.
She would just wipe off the blood on her clothing. We need to get you back home. It's not safe around me. First,
She just looks at you.
we need to patch you up first.
And you see that her eyes are gliding down your body, and as you follow her eyes, you can see that you've got wounds on your torso.
Just for distracting herself, Aisling would look around if the horses are nearby. Anyhow.
The horses are there.
Okay. It's not safe around me.
Siobhan takes a step towards you.
She would just be standing where she is. Just hands by her side. And would just trying to figure out A, what is happening, or B, rather, how to process what happened. Because she's slowly getting a grasp of what is happening.
She takes one more step towards you.
I will stay where I am. Just look at her.
She takes one more step. She's now about this far away from you.
You should not be here with me. That was the biggest mistake ever.
She stretches out her hand very slowly towards you.
Still not moving.
Away.
No, she's not moving away. But she's also not moving forward. So she's not making a motion to, like... She's just standing there, probably watching between the guys on the ground. Her... so with her, I mean Siobhan, and the horses, and just back and forth.
Since you only have one eye, you actually do this turning your head. So she basically places her hand very, very gently on your cheek, and she steadies your face so that you can't really move. I mean, she's not using any force behind it, but she's...
But Aisling will not really fight it.
Aisling, I am where I need to be.
But you're in danger. You're there to help people. Not to be killed by a weirdo.
Let me look after you now, and then we will talk. All right? You need healing.
I need
Please.
I need that thing removed.
Please.
I think now is the point where Aisling is the one not really fighting and just following whatever Siobhan is saying her to do.
Siobhan steps very, very close to you, and she puts her arm around your shoulders very gently. And she leads you towards the fire, and she says, now we'll sit down. And the two of you sit down, and she says, and now lie down and relax. Try to relax.
Aisling will lie down. Relax is far of any possibility.
Okay.
And Siobhan would see that because Aisling is still looking around, so her head and her eyes are still moving.
Okay. Okay. She starts to open the leather vest, the leather armor that you're wearing, and she's removing it. She removes your shirt. She starts patching you up. And all the while she's doing this, there's actually blood dripping from her face onto you, which is kind of gross, but obviously it's, you know, like when you open the skin here, it just bleeds profusely.
I think in between Aisling would be like, we should patch you up first. You're losing blood.
So are you. And then she says, so this is going to hurt now. Probably not as much as it's already hurting. I'm just telling you. Because she's starting to stitch you up, literally.
Okay. Aisling will try to keep it together as best as she can.
I'm sorry, I tried. My goddess isn't granting me any boons tonight. I can't heal you using her help. I'll have to do this the old-fashioned way.
Honestly, I understand that a god would not help someone who's cursed. But it would be nice if they would help.
You are not cursed.
Right. After all that happened.
And she basically just puts a finger to your lips.
Aisling would probably just look up into the sky. It would be nice if you would at least help her.
At this, you can see that she's smiling a little. And she basically, I mean, this is hurting like hell.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, so, and now, turn over, I want to look at that sigil.
Should we first clean your wounds, please, and patch you up?
Of the two of us, who's the healer?
Well, you without discussion, but still. I don't want you to have a stupid nasty bruise on the head for the rest of your life. Come on, let's clean it up.
Okay,
My neck is not going anywhere.
She basically starts dabbing and she says, I have had worse, much worse.
Still. Aisling would try to get up and would at least try to help. At least cleaning a wound, that would be something Aisling by now would know how to do.
The question is, does she realize that this is maybe something you want to do? On a 66, she kind of does. And she lets you do it.
Okay.
See? All better now.
Should we wrap a bit of cloth around it? Or will it make it worse?
It won't make a difference. It'll go away. They always fade. Now, turn around, please.
Aisling will turn around.
Okay, let's see if she keeps her composure. On a 0-1, she does. She basically dresses your wound or your whatever the sigil is, and it burns like hell because when she touches it, you know it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then she says, and now we talk.
Let's clean up camp first. We need to get rid of these guys.
We talk now. We talk first. And then we will break camp and we will leave. We will go south as planned.
Aisling will sit down by the fire cross-legged.
So, what happened?
As I said, I remember fighting these guys. I remember getting the one on top of you, off you. Then I remember my neck burning, and then the next thing I remember is you yelling at me to stop, and I'm standing over you, hitting you.
And in between, did anything happen?
I don't know. It's blank.
It's blank.
When I look around, I highly suspect that that was me and not you.
I'm not sure if it was you either. I highly doubt it. You would never hit me.
But I did.
No.
This will happen again. We just started the trip. There are more guys like that out there. Who says I will stop next time?
You stopped this time. I asked you to, you stopped.
It shouldn't even happen. This was a very bad idea.
I think it was the only idea.
Why is my neck bleeding?
It's the sigil. Come on, we'll leave now. We'll travel some more, and tomorrow we will stay put somewhere, and you get the rest that I prescribe. I'm the doctor here.
You need rest as well, the way you look. He bashed you quite well, and I on top of that.
Aisling, you need to stop talking like that.
I can't, and I will not. Aisling will get up. She will walk over to the guy who has still her sword as a porcupine stick. And she will pull it out. She will just look at him and she will just shrug, be like, if it's like that, and she will go through his pocket and see if there's anything useful.
You do find some money.
She'll grab it. Then she will walk to the other two guys and do exactly the same.
There you find a pipe and some tobacco.
She will take that as well.
All right. So do you take the weapons? Do you take the armor?
She has no use for more weapons because she can't carry it. If they have knives, she will take the knives because that would be something you could sell as well.
Yeah, they have knives. Yeah.
Because they are not heavy. You can carry them without too much trouble.
And Siobhan waits for you to get on Stodham, then she gets on Percy. And she says, let's go.
Aisling will how you do it, dig your heels into Storm and we'll get him moving.
Okay, you canter down the road for a couple of hours.
Aisling is not saying a single word. She's also not looking at Siobhan. She's just staring at the road.
And Siobhan actually manages, for some reason, maybe she's paying more attention, or you are probably not concentrating as much. She discovers there are two lakes, and between them there is a little grove. And she says, that looks like a good spot.
Aisling will stop Storm a bit, or slow down Storm to look where she's pointing.
Nobody can see us from the road. Trees, lakes on both sides.
Without a word, Aisling would turn around Storm and to at least as far as we can get on horse. Get over there.
Okay, so at some point you have to start leading the horses. So she takes care of Percy, you take care of Storm. She builds a fire.
I'll collect a bit more wood, that we have some wood around. And then she will just slump down in front of the fire. And will just stare into the fire, again, without saying a word.
Siobhan sits down right next to you and looks into the fire. She also doesn't say a word.
I think after quite a while, at least Aisling, without really taking her eyes from the fire, would just ask, do we still have some bread?
You ask, or you state the fact that you do have some?
I would ask her if we still have some bread.
Yes.
I think probably by now Aisling feels that every single bone and everything is hurting. Because in the beginning there was still adrenaline going, but now She will get up, probably with a little unnerving sound, and would walk over, would grab some bread, would sit down next to the fire, and would just hold out part of the bread to Siobhan.
Siobhan takes it.
So now we are quiet, but we will make crunchy noises.
You crunch your way through the bread.
You watch first, or I watch first?
I watch first.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Aisling is tempted to be evil and say the last time it did not help, but she is tired at the same time, so she will just curl up right next to the fire and will try to sleep, although I'm not sure how well it would work, to be honest. Because yes, she's exhausted, I'm quite sure, but at the same time her brain is full panic and working mode, so not sure if there's something like a roll to see if she falls asleep or not. Maybe a constitution save or so.
Somebody else will roll on your behalf. Okay. You feel that Siobhan puts her hand on your forehead and rests it there for a little while. And you go to sleep.
Okay.
And then she sneezes and you wake up. No,
you quick enough to get the mic out at least.
Yeah, you fall asleep. It's a dreamless sleep.
Okay.
And then she wakes you and it's morning.
Why didn't you wake me? You need rest as well.
We'll stay here for the day and for another night. I will get plenty of rest, but you needed it more. Stay put, don't move. And this time it seems like the goddess has heard her, because you see that aura again around her. And you're getting back 8 life points and 8 points of non-lethal.
8. I think it's easy for Aisling not to move, because every kind of movement hurts. The close she was to dying, she must feel like she was hit by a truck.
Yeah, you do feel like you were hit by an ox cart, then trampled by some mules, and then, Storm stepped on your foot.
Well, or an elephant sat on top of me,
yes.
Or something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So you're staying put for the rest of the day.
Okay. Thank you. Feeling a bit better.
I sure hope so. I asked the goddess to help you.
Can you do that on yourself as well?
That would be a waste.
No. Just in theory. Could you do that on yourself? If you
I've never tried. We're not encouraged to do it. I've never tried. But I don't need it.
How does her face look? Now that sun is out.
Well, she looks like
someone
Lina.
Aisling would just stay put, not moving, as she was told.
And she goes fishing, and on a 16 she catches fish, and she goes twice, and on a 17 as well she catches 2 fish.
She doesn't need me anymore.
Do you say that?
No, but honestly,
Okay.
that's probably a thought that crosses Ashling's mind.
She prepares the fish. Well, actually, she doesn't because she can't prep it. She says, well, you will have to do something. You will have to prep the fish before I can cook it. Can you do that?
Sure. Ashling will carefully sit up
Mm-hmm.
under probably moaning a bit. And she will try to get on her legs and walk over very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And will take the fish and clean them out and prep them.
Mm-hmm. You clean out the fish, you prep them. She says, that's enough. Sit down again. I'll take care of the rest. You should try and get some sleep while I'm preparing the fish.
Ashling will sit down by the fire, but she will sit. She will not sleep.
Okay. And so basically she prepares the fish, and the first one she basically fries, the second one she smokes, and then she offers you food.
I will take
Yes.
some food without discussion.
So how are you feeling now?
Still horrible.
Is the pain no better?
All depends on which pain you mean. The bones are still hurting. That will take days to go away. That's fine.
So what other pain?
I should have never dragged you into this.
You didn't. I could have stayed. I came willingly. Remember you said, where I go, you go?
I didn't know it was that dangerous. Especially I did not know that I was the danger. Should go back home.
I said, where you go, I go.
Then maybe we should both go back home.
I
Because
don't
at
think
least
we should.
there, nothing is...
Well, and the next time you run into wolves and I'm with you,
I would just be a good person staying in the village, not fighting anything except fish.
yes. And the next fish that drags you into the lake,
Will let me drown, like the duck almost made me drown.
she puts away her plate and she looks at you and she says, Aisling, you need to stop. You cannot keep tormenting yourself. We can't have this stand between us.
Says the right person that is very good in tormenting herself as well. And don't say that's your job.
Hey, when am I tormenting myself?
Every time something is not working the way it should. We both have a problem.
You have to get over this. Or is it my face?
No, it's my face. And myself. Rather my neck than my face.
Vadi said something. Remember that she asked me to stay behind when we last saw her.
Mm-hmm.
She said that she knew that there was something. She didn't know what, but she knew there was something. And she told me to never leave you alone. She made me promise. Do you want me to break the promise to her?
She's old. What does she know?
Probably more than you, Aisling. Probably more than you.
If it keeps you safe, I'm quite sure she would understand that you would leave.
I don't think this is your choice to make, I'm afraid. You are not the boss of me. You never were. Even when you were Cyrus. Even when you were Cyrus in waiting, you were never the boss of me.
I never intend to be a boss. Far off.
You will... I will make you a deal. Look me in the eye and send me away.
Aisling will look out on the lake.
This is actually a really dreary lake, so there are a couple of... probably there was a tree once. There are crows sitting there. It's not really the best view.
Aisling doesn't care.
And it's also, I mean, today is again very, very murky, and it's sun hasn't come out. It's not a lovely day. It doesn't look nice.
One of the most important things is to keep you safe. And I'm doing exactly the opposite.
She is standing next to you.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, I don't know if it is your task to keep me safe. I know it is my task to keep your soul.
Well, I'm stubborn, and believe me, I will hold on to it.
Then there won't be a problem.
If this ever happens again, I will make sure you get back home.
She smiles and she says, I would like to see you try, Aisling. I would like to see you try.
Well, knocking you out, putting you in a bag on a cart is not that difficult. I could also just tie you up and throw you over the back of the horse.
You've got it all figured out, haven't you?
I'm kind of making plans.
Then you have to come with me, because I will otherwise fight my way out of that bag, tooth and nail, and I'll come and find you.
Then I go back home, drop you there, leave.
And I will follow you. You would have to tie me down. Chain me down, more like it.
Easy enough. I just need a day head start.
Strength 90. She rolled a 3. The two of you end up in the lake.
Aisling will just try to get out of the lake. And just get back to the fire and sit exactly where she sat before, and will go staring back over the not so pretty lake.
Siobhan sits next to you and she says, you know I'm a priestess.
Yes, but you know as well that I'm not intimidated by that.
No, but I can keep this up for hours. If you want to turn this into a silent contest, I will win. Not talking doesn't help. Going into your shell doesn't help.
It helps. And I'm much better in sitting silently, not moving, than you are. You will not beat me in that.
Who said anything about not moving? So she sits down. She does. She doesn't say anything. But she, of course, doesn't sit as still as you.
Aisling is basically trying to zone out.
Mm-hmm.
She will try to focus on something and be just trying to getting some hours past and just hoping for an idea what to do next.
Okay, so while we're waiting for that idea, we're going to take a 5-minute break to see what happens. Okay, and here we are back. So you have been sitting by the fire for how long now?
2-3 hours if Siobhan keeps it really up.
Yeah.
I think then, out of the blue, Aisling would just turn to Siobhan. Don't you think you should rest as well? You didn't get any rest so far. I promise I will not run away, and I promise I will not tie you up or throw you in a bag or anything like that. I will be right here when you wake up.
All right. I guess I could use some sleep, and she prays. She lies down, and she goes to sleep.
Aisling will wait for her to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's easy to tell.
She will wait a bit longer, so just to make sure that Siobhan is really fast asleep. And while she does that, she would have one of the knives of the guys in the fire. At least the front part she would have in the fire to heat it up. And when it's red and glowing, she would probably pick some kind, like a piece of wood or anything she could bite on, and she would really just blankly put the flat blade on her neck.
Okay, so I see what you did there. All right. Okay. So
that is the one thing she was always thinking: is there a way to do this, to get rid of this, to destroy it or whatever? And now she has the pressure behind it to.
Constitution save -30.
Let's see. Constitution, which is quite high. -30. No, would not be enough. That's a fail.
Yes. Okay. So number 1, you scream.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt.
It's a bit muffled through the wood I'm biting on, but still.
I will give her a +10 on her roll if she hears you. And on a 14, oh no, that was actually cocked. On a 16, she does. She would even have done it without. She. And she looks at you, and it takes. She can't believe her eyes. 41. She missed her willpower roll.
Oh God, I'm
She
dead
slaps
now.
you. What are you? What are you doing?
I'm trying to get rid of it.
Aisling, you turn around now. Turn around and show me your back now.
Aisling still has the knife in her hand.
She doesn't care.
She will.
Turn around now.
She will put the blade probably back in the fire, but she will turn around. It's still there, I'm quite sure.
I did not foresee this.
I'm sorry.
68. You missed your luck roll. Yes, it is still there. She looks at it and she says, yeah, we need to do something about this. You've got a bad burn.
It'll go away.
It'll get infected unless I do something about it. Ashley.
There needs to be a way to get rid of this thing.
Please sit down. She gets up and she goes to where your water is, and she puts water on a cloth. She goes to her bag. She rummages through it. She comes back with a couple of jars. Turn around.
Aisling is basically sitting in front of the fire, so she has easy access to her neck.
Okay. So, you feel the pain as she puts the cloth with the water on your new burn. And then she says, okay, so I'm just saying this out of habit. This is going to hurt, but I guess you know this already. And she starts, and this, you know, this acidic voice. This is the voice that she takes with you when she is really annoyed with you. Not even upset, just annoyed and terribly disappointed.
Aisling honestly does not care. For her, is one point on a checklist did not work.
She puts ointment on it. That stings. That hurts. Make a constitution check. -30.
-30? Still a success.
Okay, you bite your tongue, possibly even literally. And then she is finished. And she says, okay, so for the next couple of days, you will be sleeping on your stomach. There is no way you can lie on this. This is going to hurt terribly.
So be it.
Did you really think this was going to help?
50-50 chance.
Then she sits down, she looks at you and she says, but you didn't run away. You didn't put me in a bag. You didn't throw me on a horse.
I will never lie to you. When I promise I'm staying, I'm staying.
So now you go to sleep and I watch.
Before I go to sleep, please don't murder me. You think there's a way to maybe more methodically try to burn it? Or add something to it? Maybe a nice butterfly or so, and it will turn to a nice happy sign on the back?
I've actually been thinking about this. Maybe adding to it is going to make a difference.
Then we should think about that. Though probably that would be something someone else should do and not me myself. Because it's quite hard to see what is happening.
Yes, I would really appreciate if you kind of didn't engage in any more self-mutilation.
Well, it was not as planned to hurt me. I just want to get rid of something that is not part of me. I will not cut off my legs and fingers and head. Thought that might solve one problem. But no, that would mean they would win, so no.
Don't think about it and don't joke about it.
Or cutting off anything will not help. At
Taking your own life.
As I said, that would mean they win. Which is not the way to go.
Do you go to sleep?
She will try. Again, I'm not sure how well it will work. Because there are still a lot of fun ideas how to maybe try to get rid of this.
You lie down, and Siobhan stretches out her hand quite slowly, and she says, "May I?"
Sure.
She puts it on your head, on your forehead, and you go to sleep.
Then I sleep.
Mm-hmm. You wake up the next day. No, actually, that was during the day. Because, so basically it's night now. You wake up because you smell food. I've been cooking. Have something to eat.
Aisling will very slowly get up.
You are in pain.
Yep.
Everything hurts.
That will be the new normal for the next days.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing, it should get better every day, in theory. And she will sit down and will happily accept some food, because I'm quite sure she is hungry.
Yes, you are hungry. And then you hear a noise. You hear footsteps.
Aisling is on her feet immediately. Whatever hurting, she doesn't care, and she will grab for a sword, because her sword would be right next to her the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And you can see in the darkness, because there is still the fire is kind of illuminating the darkness a little bit, a figure. Maybe about 170, less tall than you, little taller than Siobhan, in a cloak.
Aisling would step in front of Siobhan and would just call out, "You're not welcome here."
The figure keeps moving towards you.
Aisling is so tempted to throw a knife at it, whoever that is, because it's worst timing, or definitely person who deserves it. She would make a step forward and still sword up, but would with the other hand grab for her knife.
Okay. The person, whoever they are, spreads out her arms or their arms and says, "I come in peace."
Then the main question is that a voice that we know, or that Aisling knows?
Funny you
Because
should
I
say
suspect something, but Aisling would just react also on, is that someone I know or not?
They put back their hood. It's Samuel.
Knife is flying towards him.
He catches it in midair.
As I said, you're not welcome. Get it away from us.
He takes a step to the side so that he can see Siobhan.
Aisling will make a step to cover her again.
And he says, "Well, your handiwork? Well done. What does she do this time? You know, the priestess speak out of turn? Make a nuisance of herself? That's what happens when royalty mixes with peasants. She probably deserved it too."
Would this all end if I just kill myself? Is that what you want? That's easily done.
Killing yourself? Well, then the fun would only just begin, right?
Well, I would be far away from you.
Oh no, you would be very close indeed.
That is what you are dreaming of.
Am I that transparent to you?
I honestly don't even care about you.
Oh, that
I
hurt.
don't want to see you, and I don't want to hear you, and I don't want to think about you. And we will find a way how to get rid of this insanity, and you can find another play toy. There are thousands of people out there. Find someone who deserves it.
He takes 3 very quick steps towards you, much quicker than you can actually react. He's standing this close to you.
She will swing the sword. Without flinching, she will immediately, as reaction, just swinging the sword.
Mm-hmm.
Although, would she swing the sword? No, she would not swing it. She would use the back of the sword to try to punch him in the face, right on the nose.
Temper, temper.
Well, you created it. Have fun with it. She would try again to hit him.
He holds out his hand and he does what he did when you first went for him. He holds you like this, and it's like you are punching into a concrete wall, and he holds on to you and you can't move. And he says, "Now, can we not talk like reasonable people? You and I, we were made for each other."
You are not people, and you are not reasonable. Aisling will just...
And we're not even married yet, and you're already taking yourself out on me? Sorry. I mean, this usually, first there's courtship, then there is marriage, and then...
While he's talking, would Aisling not move against him, but is she able to just drop down?
Drop down, yes?
She would just sit down, and she will loudly start praying, the way she heard it from Siobhan.
Way to go, Aisling. I did not
And
see
will
that happen.
very honestly ask whichever gods are out there for help and protection.
Okay,
Because...
are you looking at him?
Yes.
Okay. His face falls, and you can see anger welling up. His eyes are flaring up red, but he's not looking at you. He's looking at Siobhan.
Aisling will, in between of prayers, it's not her, it's me. I was brought up like this. Like every decent citizen is. I learned everything in the church, even though I did not use it too well. But you made me do it. You are bringing me to this. And then she goes on praying.
And he doesn't look at you at all. He completely ignores what you're saying. He looks at Siobhan and he says, "I will see you again. And I will finish what your father couldn't." And he walks away.
Aisling will probably do a tiny extra prayer with a thank you for the help. And then she will turn around and look at Siobhan.
You know her really well, and
Yeah.
you've gone through plenty of things, and she was growing up. You were growing up 10 years old. And, children are much more emotional usually than human beings, than adults. But there was one emotion that you never really saw, ever, and that was abject anger. You have never seen her like this ever. Maybe, somebody pulled a prank on her. You pulled a prank on her, like mock anger. But she is furious, and you've never, ever seen this. Her face is contorted, and she looks nothing like like herself. She looks like she's wearing a mask.
Aisling will stand up, will walk over to her, and will carefully put her hand on her shoulder. Thank you for your help. On all the things you taught me, even not knowing that you taught me that. And now we have a way, at least, how to anger him.
Don't mention it. And she turns around and walks away.
Aisling will let her go. She will not stop her. Except the question is, where is she going?
She's going to the lake.
That's as long as Aisling can kind of still see her somewhere.
And she's going in the opposite direction. So Samuel went towards the road. Yeah.
Aisling will sit down. Will probably quite methodically just clean her blade, because she hasn't done that yet, in peace and quiet. And will in between have an eye on Siobhan.
Siobhan is sitting by the lake, looking into the water, and every so often she picks up a little stone. And you know that she always admired the fact that you could take the stone and flick it so that it would jump, and she never could. And she just takes stone after stone and she throws it into the lake. And she gets better as she does it. She hits it even further out. She is quite strong in the arms. And that's not something that she would ever do. I mean, you've never really seen her do this. But you would say that if you didn't know better, she's radiating anger. It's washing off her like so many waves.
I'll give her a bit more time. I will tend the horses just to see if they are okay.
They are fine. They weren't spooked.
Which is not a good sign that they weren't spooked, to be honest. But it's at least calming Aisling a bit. At least Storm, as well as Percy, are always calming her. And then she would walk down towards Siobhan. She would not be quiet about it. She would just walk down.
Yeah. Siobhan is fuming. She really, you can see that she is at this stage, she's worked herself into so much anger that she's shaking, she's shivering, she's shaking with anger.
If punching someone helps, I'm sitting right next to you.
She looks at you. Don't tempt me.
I'm offering it. I don't think it will help. At least to my own experience, it doesn't help.
It's what he wants.
He likes anger. He seems to feed from it.
He does.
So you should not be that angry. We need to find a way to get you out of it. Aisling would just, in a total weird way, would just boop her with a finger on the nose. And would look around for a nice and flat stone.
You will find one.
Now, let's practice how to flip a stone properly. Because you can throw stones very well. But you need to learn how to flick them.
You know that I can't do this. I've never been able to do this. secretly practiced. It doesn't work. I've got 2 left hands and you know this very well.
Well, with anger, you will not be able to do this. You need to think about something nice, something relaxing.
I'm not sure if flicking stone, something that I've never been able to accomplish so far, is the right thing to think about, Ashley.
You can also try something else. The only thing that I can tell you, that if you stay like this, he wins. He's not worth it.
Says someone who almost killed herself for him.
Only because I offer it doesn't mean that I would do it. We need answers. The only way to get answers off him is to ask questions.
I've never felt like this before in my life.
Well, I can tell you I feel like this a lot.
You do?
Yes. And especially if it goes around anything about him, my father, all the nice thing that happened. Because it's the evil mix of being frustrated and angry at the same time. It just eats you up.
For the first time in my life, I feel like I want to kill someone.
Honestly, he deserves it.
My goddess teaches that everyone has a purpose.
Would they also say that about one of the most evil demons out there? Not sure. Usually they're talking about people. He's not people.
No, he's not. Well, I don't know what he is. It is strange. But I do remember what I was dreaming about the other night. I was dreaming about this.
Him showing up?
No, this moment now. This crazy, angry feeling inside me.
Then either he snuck in and had a fun to make you angry already in your dreams, or it was a warning or foresight from your gods.
Yeah, then they need to speak a lot more clearly. Because I didn't hear it.
Well, the little I know about gods, I don't think they are very good in speaking clearly.
Give me that stone.
I will hand her the stone. Should I show you?
It flies into the lake in a nice arc, falls into the water, and she says, "See, I'm useless."
No, you're not useless. You're doing the wrong technique. Come on, stand up.
Okay, then
stand
show
up.
me.
Stand
Miss
up.
Smarty Pants. She stands up.
I will pick up a few stones that have the right thing, and I will basically stand behind her, like having my hand on her hand, just like making sure she holds it rightly. You need to flick it not in the water, it needs to go over the water. Your goal is to, best case, get the right angle that it flies just the same direction as the water line is. So go a bit down, then it's a bit easier.
And she takes your direction.
And you flick it just with your wrist. You don't throw it like this. This is not working.
Wow, on a 31. She manages. And she says, that was the first time ever.
See? And please never say again that you're useless. You are, for so many people that I know, helpful and a light of hope, including myself.
And what a light I was tonight.
Do you really think I would have sat down in front of him starting praying without you? I wouldn't even have known how to pray. And it
Maybe.
kind of worked.
Oh yes, it did. I could feel it too. And he didn't see that coming.
He didn't.
But I can tell you one thing, he really doesn't like me.
No, which means he's kind of afraid that you can do something that he can't control.
But now we also know what he wants from you. He wants to marry you. Well, marry you.
I have no idea what kind of idea he has.
I've no idea either.
Marrying a demon, marrying anyone. Why?
Well, and at that stage, you can actually feel that she is calmed down.
Mhm.
So this white,
Yeah.
hot glow around her has ceased. And she then, she grabs your elbow and she says, "You know what? Being angry makes me really hungry.
I understand that.
I need something to eat. Now."
Still have a bit of food. Let's go back to the fire.
You go back to the fire. She sits down. She says, "Just give me something to eat, please."
She will pull out whatever is still there. We definitely have bread. Maybe we have a little bit of fish as well left, I could guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I will put a tiny bit of honey on it and hand it over to her.
Yeah, you're running low on honey at this stage. She eats
so
it.
Be it. It's worth it. And then she would pull out a bottle of whiskey and would pour a little bit in each cup that we have, and would just hand her one.
And she drinks it down, and basically then she says, "You know what? I think I will watch tonight because I've got a couple of words that I need to say to my goddess."
Well, first of all, tell her thank you that the praying kind of worked.
Oh, that was on top of my list.
And then maybe about a clear sign on how to get rid of this, if there is a way.
And then, of course, there's the big question about how he knows about my father. And hopefully she will tell me something about that. And you go to sleep.
Well, so Aisling would look at her, because does she even know much about Siobhan's father and the past?
You know that he was one of the men-at-arms of your father, and the two of them went to battle quite frequently. Her mother died when she was less than a year old, and when she was 7 or 8, her father didn't come home from war. But he was a very beloved soldier of your father's, and your father spoke at his interment, which is highly unusual for the sire to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone cried except Siobhan. But you don't know that because you didn't know her then. You only met her 3 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know the rough idea. Her mother died, her father...
That she's been an orphan since she was 7. And then she ended up in the temple. Yeah, that's what you know.
Okay.
And do you go to sleep?
I will probably stare at her for a minute, fighting to ask or not, but then decide on going to sleep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You wake up the next morning. Breakfast is ready. And You eat, get on your horses, you travel, and after about 3 hours, you see before you rise up the huge, huge forest that you've been traveling to, the forest of the hags. And then something hits you on the head, and a little apple falls to the ground, and you hear laughter.
I'll stop Storm and look around.
Yes, beside the road, you see probably a boy who's laughing. And Siobhan says, "Oh, that's not nice. Throwing good apples at good people." And he comes towards you. Do you look at him?
Yes.
Closely? Okay. He's bigger than Yowen, but maybe not older. But he looks kind of... He's got very, very, very curly hair, which is really cropped tight to his skull. And he's got knobs of horns on his head. He's got very brown eyes like yours, but he looks nothing like you.
Aisling will get off the horse and will pick up the apple.
I'm sorry I shouldn't have done this, but you're such a good target.
Well, thank you for the apple. Our horses will enjoy that, and she will break the apple into halves and will hand one bit, or we'll hold it for Storm and the other one for Percy.
He has a cloth bag by his side and he says, wait. And he opens the bag and he takes out an apple and he holds it out to you.
I will take it. Well, thank you. They will enjoy that. They missed apples since we ran out of them.
You ran out of apples? How is that possible?
Well, in the lands between our home and getting here, there's a part where there were no apples to get.
Do you want more? I've got plenty. And he hands you the bag.
Well, 2 or 3 would be really nice. The question is, what do you want for them?
Nothing. We have so many.
Well then, thank you very much. My name is Aisling, by the way. And this is Storm, and this is Percy, and this is my friend Siobhan.
I'm Xerox.
That's a nice name.
It's my father's name. I'm Xerox, son of Oterin. Oterin is my mother.
It's so you live around the woods here. We've never been here before. It's the first time for us.
Oh, that's why you don't know about the apples. Well, no, I live in the forest. That's where we all live. It's my home.
Is it true that there are really hags in there, like people told us?
Hags? You mean the old women?
Yeah, they seem to be old and evil. That's at least the stories we got told. As I said, I've never been here, I can't say.
Well, some of them are really evil, and some of them aren't. I mean, I remember stealing their washing from the clothesline and putting it in the trees. They were very angry. I think maybe also because they couldn't get it down. You see, I can climb really well. And you notice that he's not wearing shoes.
Well, it's a good prank, I have to say. It's a very good prank.
That's what I thought, but they didn't.
Well, you did not hurt anyone, so it stays a good prank.
They told my mother.
She
wasn't happy.
That is evil of them.
See? They're evil.
We were told it's dangerous to go into the forest.
Depends on where you go.
Well, we need to pass through it because we need to go more south.
Well, I mean, if I were you, I would just stick to the path.
Okay.
You see, there are places where, lots of things live there. I mean, giant spiders live there. And that's true. That's not a lie. It's not a tall tale. They do exist. They're about this big, and he points at kind of like the size of a boar.
Mm-hmm. That is quite extensive, large.
And of course, you need to beware. Don't trample the little fields. And a lot of big people simply don't realize that that's where they live, and they just trample on the gnomes' homes.
Gnomes.
Yeah, gnomes. You have never seen a gnome?
No, I honestly don't think we have those up in the north.
But you have seen people like me, right?
No.
There are no Celines where you come from?
At least not that I'm aware of. Maybe they are hiding, but I haven't seen them.
Well, once we're grown up, we're easily spotted. See, I'm already getting nubs. When I'm fully grown, they will be really big horns.
They will look impressive and pretty.
Yes, if I'm really lucky, they're going to be really black.
That's a good sign. If they go black,
then they would look like my mother's. I would like that.
So your father's horns are not black?
No. They are more reddish.
So it seems your mother is a good one.
Unless I pull a prank on a hag.
Well, it's her job to then tell you off that that's not the right thing to do.
I guess. I never did it again.
See?
I mean, I did steal their bread, but they never found out.
So a sneaky one on top.
Yeah, well, I snuck up on you, and I landed that apple.
Perfect hit.
See? So you're going to my forest now?
Yes, we are planning to. Do you want to walk a bit with us? If it's along the way you have to go anyhow.
Well, I was going to go home anyway, so yes.
Okay. Then Aisling will look up to Siobhan. Should we walk a bit?
Sure, she gets off the horse. You start walking. And he is dressed, but you can tell that he's got quite a lot of, well, is it fur?
A lot of hair in whichever.
Yeah. And it's really kind of like tightly packed, so it doesn't seem to grow any longer, but it's more like, and so he and he's quite a friendly chap. And so you approach the forest.
Before we go in, I might have something that you would enjoy as thank you for the apples.
Really? What?
Well, we found a pipe that honestly I don't have much use for. and she will
Oh.
pull out the pipe. She would have
Mhm.
cleaned it off anyhow.
Mhm.
She will not give the tabac with it, just
Okay.
the pipe.
He looks at it and he says, I've never seen anything like it before. What do you use it for?
Well, I've seen people smoke herbs with it. I'm not sure if that's the best idea, but maybe you find another way of what to do with it. Maybe it's just for decoration.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, then I'll take it. Thank you. And then you hear steps
Mm-hmm.
and you see a obviously large version of this small one coming towards you.
Okay. Because with the first steps, Aisling would have really be like hand already. She's still on her toes, but the moment she sees, she would relax.
It's a female,
Mm-hmm.
the female version of him with very large, very black horns.
Ooh.
And she says, Xerox, there you are. And I'm so sorry, has my son been bothering you? I've told him to keep away from from you.
Good day. No, he actually was nice to help us and gave us some apples for horses.
Very good, very good. So yes, you should always share. We have so many apples, we can share them.
Also, he gave us a few tips about our ongoing travel through the forest because we've never been here before.
You're going to travel through the forest.
We have to. We need to get south.
South? You mean the deep south?
Yeah.
That's an impressive journey you have ahead of you.
Yes. Quite the adventure.
Will you not stay for a night? It's getting dark.
She will just quickly look over to Siobhan if she's like, or if she's
No.
quite. We would honestly quite enjoy that if it's not a problem or a hassle.
No. We don't usually get guests. This road isn't well traveled.
Well, we were warned that it's not a safe road to go, but it's the best way to get south.
The road is quite safe, it just depends who you meet.
Well, I'm glad I met your boy.
And she basically, puts her hand on his head, and she basically ruffles his hair. And she says, well, so I take it that he didn't try to, I don't know, steal your bread or throw your clothes into the nearest tree?
No.
Very good. Very good. He's been known to do that. And yes, I know about the bread stealing. And she looks at him. He kind of gets really red cheeks.
Red cheeks. Well, my name is Aisling, so thank you for the offer.
She sticks out her hand.
I will shake her hand.
She grasps your hand. And she shakes it. She says, it's interesting that you should come here.
What?
You've been marked.
Aisling will carefully make a step backwards.
It's all right, don't worry.
Aisling would just look at Siobhan because this is out of her ballpark.
Siobhan notices that you're looking at her, and she steps in front of you and she says, I'm Siobhan. I'm the priestess. I'm a priestess of Varna. And she sticks out her hand. And she shakes the hand. And and holds on to that hand. And she looks into Siobhan's eyes and she says, "And you? It's not a coincidence that you ran into my son, I'm sure. Come with me. I think we need to talk." And Siobhan looks over her shoulder where you are standing and she says, "I think we should go with them."
Let's go.
Is Aisling, what is Aisling's state of mind or feeling? Composed, afraid, confused?
More confused. She's not scared, because generally her gut feeling is not that these are bad people. She's more confused on how Zarek's mother knows this and feels this, and also knows. And it's a lot to process. So Aisling is more like trying to just get through all of this and trying to make sense of a bit of what she heard.
You follow her, and about half an hour later, she veers off the path, although her son had told you don't leave the path, but she doesn't go far. There is kind of like a little bit of a small path. I mean, what you were traveling on was kind of more like a road, so this is a path. And you come upon a village. 10, 11 houses maybe. There are all Selines. There isn't a single human being. And she says, "Well, this is where I live, where we live. My husband's out hunting. I'm not expecting him back for another couple of days, but you can stay here for the night." And then she says, "Xerox, I think you should look after the horses. I hear horses like apples." And you can actually see that there are plenty of apple trees everywhere. And they're in full bloom, and well, not bloom, they're actually already bearing fruit, which, you know, this is way too early.
Just don't give them too many, they will get stomach ache. But yes, they love apples.
Well, I could pack them for you. When you go on your journey again tomorrow, you can bring them.
That would be really lovely. Percy and Storm would love that.
Percy and Storm, that's nice. And he basically looks after the horses. And then she says, join me in my house.
Aisling will look around. She will try to take in the picture of the village and the houses, and probably other people looking similar like Xerx and his mother.
They all look like the horns are different. You can tell that the colors, they all have brown, let's call it fur.
Yeah.
Very curly. They are all quite tall, between 170 and 180, so less tall than you are. And they all wear, they don't wear any shoes. They have horns of different sizes. All of them have 2 of them. The little ones, depending on their age, have nubs or not. And yeah, and you don't see anyone bearing any weapons besides bows.
Okay.
So obviously there are hunters there, but nobody has a sword, nothing that you can see. So every so often somebody wields a knife to basically scrape some leather or cut up an animal that they have hunted. There is deer.
Yeah, so knife is a tool for working.
Knife is a tool, yeah. And you also see one person using a knife to carve. And he's carving little figurines of animals. So you see there's a deer there, there's a bear there. And there are kids around him, and he just hands them out. So obviously get the toys.
Aisling will follow, and we'll just hope that this will work out well.
You're led into the house. You can see that there is hardly any furniture. There is a very low table, and around it are just pelts, furs laid out, and basically she says, please sit down.
Thank you. Aisling will sit down, cross-legged.
And she looks at the two of you and she says, I can't remember ever seeing anyone so young, having been given so heavy burdens to bear. You are bearing the mark of him who came first, him who will be last. And you, and she looks at Siobhan, have been appointed her soul's keeper. I can't remember the last time I saw somebody marked like that. It must have been an age ago.
You've seen someone else marked?
I've met one, yes. It's a rare gift.
Curse is rather the word.
I prefer burden. You're not cursed.
Well, I did not choose this, so it's kind of a curse.
Only those that the gods have abandoned are truly cursed. But they sent her.
The one with the marking. Do you remember him or her?
I do remember him, yes.
Just by blind gut feeling, Aisling would describe a bit like her father looked in younger years. Does that fit his description?
Yes? You know him?
Aisling will be just like, just putting her head in her hands. Was he going through the woods southwards, or was he on his way back?
Then I can't really answer. I found him. He was asleep. He saw me and ran away. I didn't really get to talk to him. But I could feel its presence.
How? He was young then. Was he my age or was he older?
It's hard for me to judge the age of Hugh. I mean, what age do you think I am?
Not to be mean, older than I am.
Quite the diplomat. And Siobhan kind of like... Well,
I've never
I'm
met...
605 years old.
Wow. We've never met people like you before. My father never told us about people like you, even though he met you, as it seems.
Well, it was a fleeting meeting, shall we say. I didn't even have the chance to introduce myself. But at least now I've met his daughter. And if he's anything like you, I really missed something there.
You did not miss anything.
Oh? You're very self-possessed, a person of great strength and integrity.
Well, all the things he was not.
She looks at Siobhan, and Siobhan is kind of shaking her head slightly.
I'm kind of hoping I'm coming more after my mother. She's from the south.
Give me your hand again, child.
She will give her hand, a bit hesitantly, but she will hold out a hand.
What do you know about your mother?
That she's pretty, or was pretty, that she's from the south. That she should have married someone else.
I see. Well then, you go south. And I'm sure you will get some answers. But I find it strange that your mother of all people would have married someone who bears the burden.
Well, it was not her choice.
I see.
He tricked her.
Did he now?
And he murdered his best friend for it.
Well, your heritage is truly remarkable.
Well, we can't choose our heritage, can we?
No. Go and seek your mother's people.
That's the plan. And it's nice to learn new things and new people along the way.
Yeah.
If you ever come quite way north, the people there are maybe a bit rough, but very friendly.
I will bear that in mind. She looks at you and she says, take care of her.
Always.
Good. There will be a time when you will need her.
Well, that has always been the case, and I guess that will always be the case.
And she looks at Siobhan and she says, and for you, I will pray. But enough of this gloomy talk. You must be hungry. Let me see to the food. And she gets up and she leaves. What do? Do you say anything to Siobhan?
No. Again, just trying to process what she heard. She probably just whisper a bit like, he was here. And he was already marked. How?
I don't know.
It must have been before he married.
Maybe the mark was on the inside.
The question is, where did he get it from?
Who knows? Because it's not the mark of him who tricked him. It's his father's mark. He gave it to you as far as we know. It wasn't Samiel. I think we should still try and find out what the mark actually means.
We should. Next to finding a way how we can Well, maybe not get rid, but change it.
And what's that about your mother's people?
I don't know. I know as much about the people as you do.
Well, remember how Sean said we should bring back stories?
Mm-hmm.
Boy, will we be bringing back stories.
The kids will love the idea that there are people here
with horns.
With horns. And where the apples are growing. Although in our parts of the lands, the apples are far from growing.
Xerox was quite cute. He reminded me of Yoin.
Right? Little trickster, but a very good-hearted trickster.
Yes. Yeah. And a little bit like you, isn't he? A trickster, but a very good-hearted trickster.
Maybe.
Yes.
I might have done some tricks and pranks in my life.
Yeah. You never stole anyone's washing, though. That's new.
That's too easy.
Well, if it's a hag and then you put it into the nearest tree... I'm glad that we're staying here tonight. I don't know if I would have wanted to just stay on the path somewhere.
Also here we probably have both the chance to get some sleep because we both need rest.
Yes, you've said it. And at that moment Oterin comes in and she has, for want of a better word, apple pie. I hope you like this.
For sure. It smells lovely.
Yeah, there will be deer later, but it's gonna take a while to roast. But I thought you could use this.
Yeah.
And then she hands you a jar and she says, I understand you like honey. Take it. It's a gift.
Thank you. Is there anything that we can give back to you? Is there anything where you need someone big and strong to help carry stuff, chop wood? I sound the same with every people we meet, Siobhan. I need to change that.
Well, I'm not so sure about that because we are pretty strong.
I suspected so.
But you could maybe tell us tonight a little bit about the place that you're from. We would like to hear about it.
We can do that.
Then that's a deal. But I think the two of you should get some rest. Don't take this personally, but you don't look well. Neither of you.
Well, we've been through quite a bit.
Yes. And she looks at Siobhan and she says, and you are quite depleted. You should learn to find your center more. It'll help.
Aisling will chuckle. She can't stop herself.
Let's see. Oh yeah. Siobhan basically does this to the back of your head very lightly.
I deserve that.
Mm-hmm. Well, Taryn looks at the two of you and she leaves, and then you can hear her mumble under her breath, find my center, find my center. If I'm ever any more center, I'm gonna find my center. And then she stretches and she says, but you know what? I am really tired.
Yeah, same. So
let's go to bed.
Get some sleep.
Okay, so basically there is plenty of fur. You can just lie down and you go to sleep, and we will take it to the next level next time and see what happens.
Then let's hope Aisling is dreaming of yummy apple pie.
Okay, we will think about what she dreams about. There is plenty of things that you could dream of.
I'm also fine that she's dreaming of nothing.
Yeah, that's true. too, as long as it's not a nightmare. So thank you very much, and yeah, in 2 weeks' time we'll see what happens.
Exactly.
O hi mina morviena, o hi mina korviena, o hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren foicho, hi mi gondalan taches an trukuk mi, kerer oram feilches a chan en a hukas mi, jev mi an eigus gran rukem, nach rech ging dunich en or. O hi mina morviena, o hi mina korviena, o hi mina karachen, hi mina skaren foicho.